I get home from work on Saturday morning about 4 to 5
The
a.m.
2016
On a good week, I
Safina,
did some
Florida
prep
Winter
early,
Tour,
and on a bad week, I'm doing it when I get
presented
to the
by
track.
Fixie Wheels,
Sleep is not an
in
option.
partnership with
Unload, reg, drivers
Motorsport.com
meeting, nap,
and
qualify, race.
Ritmo.
It's not every weekend, but it's as many races as I could make. I used to race when I was younger, before New York or before getting married. I've always worn Bill. From bicycles to race cars, it's given me the best in safety when I've needed it the most.
The Mazda Road to Indy has been training and promoting the best, most ambitious open-wheel drivers and teams in North America. Now, Max Speed Group and Anderson Promotions brings to the Rotax karting world a unique opportunity to experience the next level in racing.
A lot of these karters have a dream of becoming an IndyCar racer, and that transition going from Rotax to the Mazda Road to Indy is finally there for them to be able to get a feel of that car.
The Mazda Road to Indy, where drivers and teams from around the world come to succeed. This is where it all starts. This is where you want to be.
With multiple national titles in IKF, WK, SCUSA, and Rotax, the Rollison Performance Group put their experience to work for you. Coast to coast, RPG offers the most comprehensive driver development program. From detailed on-track data analysis to trackside coaching for tuners and drivers, RPG's individualized trackside support will improve your results. RPG is an authorized Rotax service center and a top supplier of Cosmic Carts and OTK parts. Visit us on the web at rollisonperformancegroup.com.
The 2016 Safina, Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels, in partnership with Motorsport.com and Ritmo. the 2016 Safina, Florida Winter Tour. Presented by Fixie Wheels. In partnership with Motorsport.com and Ritmo Mundo. Live from Palm Beach, Florida, here's Tony Laporta.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our live broadcast of the 2016 Safina Foods Florida Winter Tour. I'm back. I'm Tony Laporta, and there you see a live look at our Senior Max grid as we are getting ready to head out for our first session of qualifying. It is the final round of the Safina Foods Florida Winter Tour, round number 3. We're here in West Palm to crown some champions and hand out some tickets. Italy, the site of this year's grand finals. We handed out some tickets last weekend in the Rock Cup final round of the Florida Winter Tour. I was not here, but I heard the racing was fantastic. Chris Wheeler was here. Chris, how fantastic was the racing?
The racing last weekend, Tony Laporta, was absolutely unbelievable. This racetrack continues to produce amazing side-by-side action. As soon as you think it's wrapped up, hold on tight. 3 corners later, we are back into some massive pack racing, and it was awesome. A look right there. That is the Motorsport.com complex, turns 1 and 2, and it was the site of several big situations.
Yeah, all weekend, all season you've been talking about, we're back live, high above Homestead, Miami Speedway, high above Ocala Grand Prix. Well, this weekend we really are high above the West Palm kart track, and what an awesome venue. Ronnie and his staff here have done a fantastic job building up a great kart track inside of the big road course, the drag strip. You got everything you need here if you've got an engine and a few wheels here in West Palm, Florida. But karting is what we're doing this weekend. Senior Max out on the track now. We appreciate all you tuning in and watching live wherever you are at. Send us an email at live@floridawintertour.com. Let us know what you're doing, where you're watching from, as we kick Senior Max qualifying off here. Coming up next will be Masters Max. Those drivers need to be on the grid. I'm not sure the PA speakers are working here, so they probably can't hear us. But, yeah, Chris, everything sounded like it went really well last weekend.
So, obviously, we know what happened here with the Florida Winter Tour, but let's talk a little bit about where you were last weekend. How was that?
Yo, man, last weekend was great. I was able to go down to St. Petersburg, Florida, on the other side of the state, and be a part of the opening round of the Verizon IndyCar Series, and more importantly, the Mazda Road to Indy, position that I've been happy to take on over there. We were in Alabama 2 weeks ago with testing, and then we were in St. Pete last weekend with the first round of the season. And what a cool deal. Mazda Road to Indy, the official ladder system of Max Speed Karting. You race your way through Max Speed Karting events, and then if your plans include Formula Racing, you can step into the Mazda Road to Indy, the 3 minor league affiliates of IndyCar racing in this country. And I was out there in St. Pete for the first race weekend of 2016. It was an absolute blast. I tuned in, watched a little bit, but didn't get to see as much as I'd like, but I got to hear your soothing voice.
Always a good time when you get to check out and kind of go do some of these things that knock off that bucket list and keep improving your career.
Your dad was there.
He was, of course, the representative of Bell Racing USA. He was servicing all of our drivers in the Mazda Road to Indy, as well as in the Verizon IndyCar Series. This weekend, he is just up the road, actually, at the 12 Hours of Sebring.
It's a busy life when you're a wheeler.
Got to do something to put that money in the bank.
Keep the tax collectors off the old trail.
That's right. So, I mean, one of the cool things, Tony, that I saw was that we talk about how the Mazda Road to Indy works and how Max Speed has this amazing relationship with them. But what I think is really cool is yourself, the voice of Max Speed Entertainment, getting the opportunity to also move up the ladder with that program. That was something that was really neat to me, and it kind of shows you the atmosphere that Max Speed Entertainment has on every aspect.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's the ladder system is designed to promote drivers, and then for a schlub like me with a mic to get to enjoy the process as well was pretty awesome. Let's take a look here as drivers make their way through the last couple of corners. That's Oliver Askew. You haven't seen him race in Senior Max all season, but he's pulling double duty here at home in West Palm. Oliver hailing from Jupiter, Florida, just down the road as they make their way through the hairpin down at the far end of the track. You see all the mechanics up above watching. Jordan Sherritt now takes over the top spot. Now it's Mazzafaro, 56.805. He brings Askew with him with a 56.83. Sherritt, the South African, falls down to third, and that's Darren Keene from Orsalon Racing, boy, they're just shaking up all over the top 5 here. Mazzafaro back to the top, Askew in second. Now it's Canadian Clayman DeMello in third, Sherritt to fourth, Kirkwood, the Ocala Grand Prix driver, and the points leader coming into this weekend, fifth quick.
So points obviously a big concern this weekend for all classes, Tony Laporta. And one of the things with that, personally, I enjoyed last week was being able to give the updates throughout even the final on Sunday. The staff here at Max Speed Entertainment has done such a good job in helping me last week. I know they're going to be here with us this week, timing and scoring, doing a beautiful job. But the fact that we have the ability to do up to second as they run point standings is a pretty awesome thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was cool to watch as the points battled there in Rock Cup to sort out the championships, Florida Winter Tour. 3 months of racing, 3 rounds of competition, and it all comes to an end here in West Palm. There you see Gianfranco Mazzafaro on the Burrell chasing down his fellow chassis teammate from PSL Karting, Oliver Askew. Askew's going to let him go down there on the far side of the track. Mazzafaro's going to move back up to the front. Kirkwood on top, though, 56.773. Mazzafaro on the Burrell slips to second. Askew now down to third. Clayman DeMello and Garrison, your top 5. Sherritt continues, unfortunately, to moonwalk his way down the order. Luke Selikin from Oregon runs 7th. Keene 8th. Malukas, the rookies, Malukas and Estep both round out your top 10 here in Senior Max qualifying. There goes Bryce Choker. You just saw him for a moment. Bryce making his Florida Winter Tour debut here in 2016. He hasn't been with us on the road so far this year. And also, Chris, one driver who I'm very excited is joining us for the first time this season at West Palm for the last round. Stingray Robb making his debut in Senior Max, something I've been looking forward to for quite a few years.
Well, something I'm looking forward to right here, Tony Laporta, that's going to be what the Ocala Grand Prix drivers can do here. Kirkwood, Garrison, then you look a little bit further down and to say the Junior Max later on with Matias Ramirez. Obviously, they're contenders everywhere they go. Their Rotax program is spot on. Now, something just tells me in my stomach that they haven't shown us what they've got. And so I'm interested to see what kind of rocket ships Mike Speed bolts on these things here for qualifying, and we're going to find out, is this going to be an OGP show once again, or are we going to see some really hard battles up front?
Well, based on the up and down nodding of Morgan Healy's head here in the timing and scoring building, I think it will be an OGP show. At least that's what she believes. And I'm sure a few of the other OGP-ers here in the paddock this week in West Palm, they agree. But yeah, of course, OGP always has such incredible speed everywhere we go. Kirkwood showing that right now as he's on top. Mazzafaro from PSL runs second. Clayman DeMello lays down his best lap of the session of 56.8. He's third. Askew down to fourth. Garrison in fifth. And Chris, I don't know what you all know about the situation, but I believe Askew had a bit of a heartbreaker here in Rock Shifter last weekend from what I was seeing on the old Twitter and MySpaces.
So Askew really did have a cart to win the race, no doubt about it. Broke a shift lever off of turn number 2, exiting the motorsport.com complex. And I got to tell you, it really was heartbreaking. I kind of gave him a hard time and said, hey, kid, back in my day, we just would have reached down and done it. But it's just, it was heartbreaking. I told the story last week on the broadcast, how Oliver Askew got involved here in the karting. He was a young kid. It was his birthday from right down the road, and his dad said, hey, let's take you up to that go-kart track people talk about, and let's just do it as a birthday gift, like something fun for you to do. And it's changed their lives 100%, no doubt about that. And so to see it come full circle and him have an opportunity to take such a big win here, it just would have been so neat with friends and family in the area. But the cool part is this weekend he's got a chance to double down on it.
That's incredible, getting to spend some time with Oliver and hear how his thing has started, and it's definitely shaped his life and his career, Chris, as you say. Checkered flag is going to fly here from the hands of Cameron Egger. Watch for him on Sunday, folks. We're going to try to keep a camera on him. He's going to be rocking some Argyle socks down there on the finish line this Sunday afternoon for the final round of the Florida Winter Tour. But as qualifying gets kicked off here in West Palm, Kyle Kirkwood is going to end the session on top. No surprise there. He had a little bit of heartbreak himself at Ocala back at home last month when the Conrad snapped in half while leading out there in the Senior Max final. Gianfranco Mazzafaro ends up second. Clayman DeMello, good run for him in third. He'll start on the inside of row 2 for all of our heat races this weekend. And then Askew on the Burrell, making his Senior Max debut in 2016, will start fourth with Garrison in fifth. DKC's Jordan Sherritt rounds out your top 6. Luke Selikin from Rollison Performance Group is 7th. Orsalon Racing's Darren Keene is 8th. From Oakland Valley Race Park, Matt Solarczyk is 9th, and David Malukas with J3 Competition rounds out your top 10. Estep 11th, Brooks 12th, Holden 13th, Choker and Palmer your top 15. So there you see our Masters Max drivers down on the grid. That looks like old Crazy Eyes Mike Rollison, I believe, giving a fist bump to his driver Nick Tucker. That may be Caleb Lineski, I believe. That looks more like Lineski. As our Masters Max drivers are getting ready to go. What'd you say? All right, so stick with us, folks. We're going to be back in just a moment when Masters Max take to the track for their qualifier. And we resume with Masters Max qualifying. There you see live images of the twisty and turny West Palm Beach kart circuit. A little confusing, a little different here this weekend for a guy who wasn't here last week. We're kicking things off. We're going to give him the green flag once we get to racing on the, I guess what you'd call it, the back straightaway, heading into the hairpin, turn number 11. You're following Scott Roberts right now as he heads past the tower out of turn 9 and 10. And then you'll see them head down into the hairpin. There it is right there. You see the tram lanes painted on the track. The drivers will get the green flag there. Then they roll through turn 11, get back on the power, and head down the front straightaway. There's the finish line. And then turn 1 is the right-hander onto a slick patch of concrete. How do I know it's slick? Well, because I took a rental cart backwards through that section 2 nights ago. Then they hit the left-hander turn 2 down the short chute. Well, it's not much of a short chute, in fact, at all. Then they hit the left-hander turn 3. It's a long, increasing radius corner. Spits you out into the right-hander turn 4. Late apex for sure right there. And then it's turn 5 at the far end of the track. Another left-hander. The track unwinds for the right-hander in turn 6. And then you hit a couple of S's here on the exit of 7. Those are turns 8, 9, and 10 before the turn 11 hairpin. And that's a very poorly described lap around Palm Beach. Scott Roberts has been the man to chase here in 2016. But keep an eye on Michelle Boyce in that 608 Tony kart from Orsalon Racing. Boyce has been so fast everywhere we've gone all season. Nick Tucker, currently the second quickest driver on track. Let's see how they look now with lap number 2 in the books. Roberts on top, 59.1. Then it's Tucker from North Carolina with a 59.3 in second. Courteau falls to 4th as it's Adrian Ortiz up to 3rd. And then Boyce rounds out your top 5. So, Chris, Masters Max, it's not the quantity, but it's the quality of drivers in this field.
So, yeah, you're talking, Tony Laporta, about quality over quantity. And let's look at the quality of the racing when we look at the big scope for the weekend, the championship points. Christoph Adams on the Team Montoya Bureau, number 666, is your points leader by 24 points over Boyce. Then it's Scott Roberts, only 52 out of the lead. So all 3 drivers, Adams, Boyce, and Roberts, coming to this thing, you can call it even because the point swings at this final round are so big.
Scott Roberts pulls over and lets Nick Tucker go by. Tucker, now your quickest driver on the track, a 58.698. Tucker got into turn 1 on the concrete, a little hot, got the rear wheels almost back around. He may have given Roberts a little bit of a love tap getting into that corner, and that might be half of why Scott Roberts pulled over to let the North Carolina driver go by. Tucker racing with Rollison Performance Group to the top of the sheets, 58.698, but now they're going to run into slow traffic. That's Christoph Adams. Adams pulling double duty this weekend as well on the Burrell, and he has slowed up Nick Tucker and Scott Roberts. Oh, boy. That is unlike Christoph Adams. And big thing for Christoph this weekend, racing on an injured back. I'm not exactly sure what Christoph does during his week job, but he said he fell from a terrace on about what would be equivalent to the third story where he was working and fell flat on his back on a patch of grass. He said had it been concrete, he thinks the fall would have killed him. Thankfully, it was onto a soft soiled piece of grass, but he fell straight from about the third floor off of a terrace and is just happy to be in the cart this weekend, it sounds like.
Definitely not what you're looking for when you're talking about going into a championship battle, Tony Laporta.
It's not the way to start off the weekend. I think we can all agree on that. I'm no doctor, but I did stay at a Marriott last night.
Well, it's a step up from the Howard Johnson. Meanwhile, as we look back here on the racetrack, you got a beautiful view there. The 6-7, and then it goes into the 8-9 through the turn 10 complexes. All about rhythm here. All about rhythm. No doubt about it. If you have any any doots boots, one thing I talked about a lot with the younger drivers, Tony Laporta, is that I encourage them all to learn the craft of reading music. I feel that if they can read sheet music and they can understand rhythm and how to space notes and whole notes and half notes and etc., that it really helps them with driving and being able to look at a track map and be able to get the rhythm down. And that's one big thing about this weekend, and it's working so far with a couple of our junior drivers. And to me, this track really kind of defines that purpose.
Tons of rhythm for sure as we watch laps get laid down. It's always also good to learn rhythm because, of course, you can't have rhythm without the blues, and we all know karting provides its share of blues throughout the season. That is for sure. Nick Tucker, he's not too blue right now. He's feeling great as he is leading Scott Roberts and the rest of the field. Michelle Boysa actually jumps up to second. So, Chris Wheeler, we're getting shout-outs coming in from my good friend Kevin Hodge. He wants to know, why y'all got to trash the Hojo? And that's my best Kevin Hodge impersonation. Kevin, we're not trashing the Hojo. At least I'm not. I had a great time there. Chris, I don't know what your problem with the hotel was.
I never even pulled in the parking lot. I sit at the Holiday Inn Conference Center.
Well, you must work for Kuna USA. We see Bobby Green complete a pass down in turn number 1. But, Kevin, we sure appreciate you tuning in and watching. Buddy, we sure miss you as we are qualifying here. There you see Nick Tucker and Scott Roberts come out of turns 4 and 5, heading for 6 on the far end of the track. Let's take a look at the running order here with about a minute and a half to go. Tucker shows the way. Boysa second quick. Ortiz third. Scott Roberts is fourth. Big Bobby Green out of Florida runs fifth. Daniel Robertson sixth. David Shatak seventh. Alessandro De Luca is eighth. Peter Corteau, Peter Hecht, and Christoph Adams all the way down at the bottom of the running order. That back injury obviously affecting him a little bit more, I think, than he's letting on right now. 1 minute to go in the session, and here comes Nick Tucker up on the steering wheel. Let's see, can he improve? 59.044, and he does. But his best time is still a 58.698. So these guys are probably going to get one more lap in after this one, Chris, and then that'll be all for our Masters drivers. Tucker looks pretty good right now.
Yeah, Nick Tucker doing a fantastic job on the Rollison Performance Group. Oh, we got one off. Right here, right in the heart of the motorsport.com complex. Driver went through turn number 1, ran out of talent, pulled off the racetrack. So disappointing way to end qualifying for that driver. Not sure who it is. I think it's on the CRG.
Yeah, we're looking for the CRG driver, possibly David Shatak. The 606, he gets it refired and takes off. The clock's going to hit about 10 seconds to go here. It's going to be tight to see if these drivers can get back to the line in time. I don't think they're going to be able to. Roberts flies down to the inside. Tucker pulls off the lane. 5 seconds to go. It's going to be tight. Can Tucker get there in time? Tucker pulls off. What about Roberts? I think Roberts did not beat the flag. No, he did. Roberts should get this last lap should he choose to take it. And it's a Boysa purple, 58.652 for the Tony Kart driver. A Boysa, he's been purple every session of every race this season, and he saves his purple lap for the best time here in Masters qualifying, a 58 with a 6.52 on the back, and that knocks Nick Tucker of North Carolina off the pole position. Adrian Ortiz third, Roberts fourth, Bobby Green fifth. Roberts looks like he's working on a flyer here. Let's see if he has anything.
So Roberts will know by the time he gets to turn number 10 whether this thing is up or down by the way he sets his micron. And I'm honestly telling you, if it's not good, you'll see him take a hard right. And if he thinks he's got something for it, he will keep digging.
He's going to keep digging.
He's gonna go for it.
Robert stays out. He heads into the hairpin turn number 11. He's got to beat a 58.6 take pole, and he's got to beat a 59.0 to move into the third position at the line. No, Roberts does not improve. 59.443, and that keeps him in the fourth position. So it's a Boyce of the big winner here in Masters Max qualifying. The tires came in at the perfect time as he wins the pole position. Tucker brings the RPG Cosmic Kart home in second, Ortiz third, and then it's Roberts in fourth. Bobby Green will round out your fast five here at Masters Max. Daniel Robertson sixth, De Luca seventh, Shatak after a spin finishes eighth, Courteau ninth, Hecht 10th, and Christoph Adams on the Burrell is going to be coming from the back in his trio of heat races this weekend. So Masters Max is done. Senior Max finished with qualifying. So that should mean Mini Max coming up next. That is going to be a fantastic class to watch all weekend. There you see the drivers down on the grid, backs to their wall. A very European grid style down there. PSL Karting bringing you all of our Mini Max action this weekend and this season. So stick with us, folks. We'll be back as soon as our Mini Max drivers take to the track for qualifying. So now we're on track with PSL Karting Mini Max qualifying underway. Chris Wheeler is getting ready to say something clever, I'm sure. Jade Hubert, Elio Giovanni, Ethan Ho, Arias Duke Medjan, and my favorite name in all of karting, Caleb Bacon. Out on track, Caleb Bacon switching over from the comp kart early on this season. He's on the CRG with the boys from J3 competition, so we'll see how the CRG handles for him here in timed qualifying. Hubert, first driver out, is going to lay down a purple lap. Minute 1.158 for the young lady in the class. Caleb Bacon jumps up to P2. Jeremy Fairbairn is third. He was very fast in both Homestead and Ocala. Duke Medjan fourth. Yuvan Sundramurthy. Good run going here for Yuvan. He's fifth quick. Yuvan racing with Oakland Valley Race Park out of Southern New York. We want to send positive thoughts out to Yuvan's tuner, James Dyer. He was here yesterday setting Yuvan and his dad Gopal up for the weekend, but I understand that James had a bit of a family emergency back in New York and had to catch a red-eye out to be back home in New York, so lots of positive thoughts going to James Dyer for whatever's going on back home. Hope everything is good, and we can't wait to see him back out on the track. His driver, Yuvan, is running very well here at the start of qualifying. Jade Hubert stays in P1. Gonzalez, Duke Medjan, Caleb Bacon, they're all trying to sort themselves out right now, Chris.
So Huber went purple with a minute .453 for Jay the last time by. Duke Medjan, Fairbairn, Bacon, Sundramurthy. Now the top five, but my eyes are on Gonzalez and Morgado, both on the outside looking in here when it comes to the top five. And how about this one? Sebastian Montoya, the 1.518 Montoya Bureau, Now to the top of the charts, minute .362.
There you see a good live look of our Minimax drivers making their way through the S's at the inside of the part of the track here right before they fly past us in the motorsport.com hospitality VIP tower and suites, heading down the back straightaway into turn 11. Again, that's where you'll see the green flag fly for our heat races today, but the finish line is actually on the opposite side. There goes Duke Medjin, a pass for the lead of that pack. They head down the front straightaway over the start-finish line. It's going to be, looks like Duke Medjin, and I want to say that's Giovanni behind him, Elio Giovanni, but I'm not positive. You see a couple of our moms and dads and mechanics in the grandstands there on the inside of turn number 1. I think I saw Ben Cooper.
So we're going to take a check here into the points standings in Minimax, Tony Laporta, and your leader currently in the overall points, Jeremy Fairbairn by 83 over Matias Morgado. Tyler Gonzalez third, only 89 back, and Austin Torgerson 158 back. Now Jetpack Jack Crawford sits fifth, 334 back, but I just don't think that 334 is a you just can't make it up. There's just not enough karts in the class. But I think Torgerson is on the line. I think that if everything goes perfectly right, Torgerson mathematically possible, but there's no question that Fairbairn, Morgado, and Gonzalez are going to have a no-limits cage ladder match here for this Minimax title this weekend.
Nothing like a street fight in Central Florida, I always say. And the points battle here in Minimax, brought to you by PSL Karting, is exactly that, a good old-fashioned fight. But, oh, who's that at the top now? Emiliano Richards. Richards comes out of nowhere with a flyer, 59.762 to put it on the top of the sheet. That bumps OGP's Gonzalez down to second. Aiden Fox, another New York driver, throws it onto the second row in third place. Fairbairn down to fourth now. Hubert in fifth. Morgado, Vasquez, Torgerson, Duke Medjin, and Sundramurthy round out your top 10. Cody Schindel was standing right there in the middle of the grass taking photos of these carts flying by, and boy, that's just risky. He's living life on the edge. There he is. Oh, and now he's crouched. Oh, Cody is scaring me out there right now, Chris.
Talk about scary. How about scary fast? Tyler Gonzalez in the Ocala Grand Prix Tony Kart, the number 157. Now goes purple, 59.568. So almost 2 full tenths of a second on top of Emiliano Richards' time. Aiden Fox third, Jeremy Fairbairn fourth, Matias Morgado top 5.
Fairbairn's going to get on a cart down there in turn 1 as he continues to try and find open and clean track to lay down flyers. A couple kids in this Minimax class. I'm impressed by all the young drivers competing in Minimax this weekend. But there's a few that you always just got to talk about. One driver who I really enjoy getting to watch race and enjoy having her in the paddock and the pit area is Jade Hubert. Man, she's such a good young driver, and I can't wait to see how she progresses as a racer. But she's just a good kid. She's always coming over to talk to you, to say hello, wants to tell you how her weekend's going. She's someone who I could see going very far in motorsport just based on her personality and her mental state when she's at the track. She's having fun. She's smiling. She's not treating this like a 9-to-5 job like some of the kids are. Jade's always a positive influence to have at the track. She currently runs in the 5th position right now here in qualifying.
So as time continues to tick here, just under 5.5 minutes remain in Minimax. Tyler Gonzalez, Emiliano Richards, Matias Morgado, Noel Jesus Leon Vasquez now into the 4th spot. Jade Hubert in the 5th spot. So Tony Laporta, seems like the more you talk about her, the faster she goes.
Yeah, I think so. And normally that's the commentator's curse. As soon as you start talking good about a kid, at least in my experience, is right about the time they fly off the track. And if you want to talk about a jinx, there it is right there.
I honestly thought last Sunday that I had done the same thing. It came down to the mini rock class. They're out in front, leading the race. I thought, I'm going to give a couple shout-outs here. I'm going to keep talking about stuff. And so I started talking about Luca Mars. Well, next thing I know, Luca Mars is like off the track, sideways, in a battle, and I'm thinking, oh no. I just talked about how his father Brett's turning 50 today, how the best present ever, blah, blah, blah. No, he's out. But then he ended up fighting back and winning the race anyway. I just thought for sure, though, it was my fault.
Most of the time when things go bad on the racetrack, parents usually do blame me. So when you take over for me, Chris, you assume that liability of getting blamed for anything and everything. So I should have warned you about that, but that was my bad. Yeah, so you always want to be careful who you talk about and who you say nice things to, because you never know when it's going to come back and bite you.
No, I want to clarify that last statement. I didn't take over. I simply substituted. There's a big difference. I don't want the forum pages and the blogs online to think that I'm taking over for you, because I'm not.
You think people online are talking about us?
Of course.
That'd be cool.
How else do you think you got all those votes?
Yeah, have I thanked everyone for that lately? Let's check in here on qualifying, as we only have, actually we have quite a bit of time to go. Mini and micro are 12-minute sessions, I believe. Let's check out some of our shout-outs here. That's a good way to kill some time. Shout out to my son, Davide Greco, Senior Max, card number 337. Wish I could be there with you, buddy. Love, Mom. That's from Emily Greco. And another shout out from the very beautiful Miss Janelle Pearson. Good job, Luke. Way to get this party started. Go Rollison Performance Group. That's from Josh Pearson's mom, Janelle Pearson. Janelle, thanks for always tuning in and watch the broadcast. Sure appreciate it. Tyler Gonzalez, he appreciates how fast his OGP Prep Tony card is. 59.442. And folks, I've never met a bigger cheerleader in my life than Morgan Healy. If you even say the letters OGP not in that order, she's cheering and pumping her fist. Emiliano Richards is second. Matias Morgado third. Jade Hubert is up to fourth. Now Fairbairn rounds out your top five. Noel Jesus, Leon Vasquez is sixth. Aiden Fox, Caleb Bacon, Torgerson, and Duke Medjin are your top 10. Montoya is 11th. Yuvan Sundramurthy is 12th. Dale Curran, Ethan Ho, and Elio Giovanni are at your top 15, while Miss Chloe Chambers from Ben Cooper Racing rounds out the field in 16th. There's Fairbairn bringing them through the backside of the track, down in front of us in the tower, and he'll head through turn 10. 9, 10 right there. Now they'll shoot down the back straightaway for corner number 11. So Jeremy Fairbairn doing everything he can to try and climb back up the leaderboard. There you see 4 carts heading down the front straightaway into the right-hander. Concrete patch, turn number 1. Corner that was just redone not too long ago. The right-hander, turn 1, narrow corner, and then it unwinds to an early apex. Left-hander, turn number 2, Chris Wheeler.
I want to get this very clear, Tony Laporta. Do not screw this up. Turns 1 and 2, the motorsport.com complex.
You got to explain that to me.
Well, there's a great camera that angles right off the backside of turn number 1. Gives you a great shot of drivers coming down. Oh, and what is that? On the barriers?
Wow.
The motorsport.com banners.
That is a great shot right there.
So that's why that complex has been renamed. And as the clock strikes 0, Tony Laporta, tell us how we're going to line up for heat races just a little while down the road in the Minimax.
Last couple of drivers are making their way down the back straightaway in turn 11. There you see my able-bodied roommate, Cameron Egger, waving the checkered flag. We're going to keep a camera on him all weekend, like I said. He's going to be wearing some Argyle socks come Sunday. Chris Wheeler's out of here already, folks, but he'll be back. Don't you worry. On top, at the end of qualifying for Minimax, brought to you by PSL Karting, it's going to be the 157 of Tyler Gonzalez. Emiliano Richards, what a good session for that young driver. The 120 puts it on the outside of row number 1 with a 59.563. Gonzalez was a 59.442. Matias Morgado on the AM Racing chassis from Brazil ends up third, 59.692. And Jade Hubert with PK Sports. Good run for Jade. She'll start outside row number 2 in our heat race later this afternoon. Fairbairn rounds out your Fast 5, but don't expect Jeremy to stay there for long, folks. That kid can hustle. 6th place, Noel Jesus Leon Vasquez. Aiden Fox comes home 7th. Caleb Bacon will start 8th in the number 118. And then it's Southern Oregon's Austin Torgerson in the 181. Arias Duke Medjan rounds out your top 10. Sebastian Montoya finishes 11th. Yuvan Sundramorthy 12th. Dale Curran, Ethan Ho, Elio Giovanni are your top 15, with Chloe Chambers rounding out the field in 16th position. So that will do it for Mini Max qualifying. That should mean that DD2 and DD2 Masters drivers are up next. So all you Oliver Askew fans and all you Christoph Adams fans, get ready, because those double-duty drivers are getting ready to roll out next. Stick with us, folks. This is live coverage of the final round of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels.
The 2016 Sofina Florida Winter Tour, presented by Fixie Wheels, in partnership with Motorsport.com and Ritmo Mundo.
So we're underway with DD2 and DD2 Masters qualifying. These classes brought to you by Mojo Racing Tire. When you want to go racing and need a tire, choose Mojo. Out of turn 1 and through turn 2, heading down the long stretch to turn number 3. Oliver Askew leads the pack. There you see him aboard the Burrell with the white helmet. And then right behind him should be the energy of Marco Signoretti. Signoretti came off of a good podium finish last month in Ocala at round number 2 of the Florida Winter Tour. We've been having a blast in 2016, that's for sure. Everywhere we've gone, it's been great racing. In Homestead, we got a little wet. In Ocala, things were pretty normal. I don't think there was any distinctive weather characteristics in Ocala. It was a little windy, maybe. And then here in West Palm, it's been spring break perfect weather. A little overcast today, but it makes up for the 85-degree days we've been having all week. And I don't want to say it, so I'm not gonna, but the forecast for Sunday is not looking as, let's say, dry as you see it today. We're obviously keeping our fingers crossed that it stays dry. But don't be surprised if you tune in to see a little bit of wet weather racing later on this weekend. There you see a shot of turn number 3 as karts make the long sweep through and then down into turn 4. There's a good shot of turns 4, 5, 6, and 7. Askew with a 56.736. Dev Gore is P2. Dev Gore, man, last year he raced the Can-Am Karting Challenge at Pat's Acres, and I asked him where he's from. Well, he says, I'm bi-coastal. And I said, is that legal? And he said, yeah, it means I live in 2 different places. And I said, oh, he lives and works on both the West Coast in his hometown of Seattle, Washington, and then he works in the East Coast in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think he just said he recently relocated to Florida. So he currently holds residency in 3 different states. That's tri-coastal. You didn't even know there were 3 coasts on this country, and he's doing it. Dev Gore, you can't put a pin on him. Askew, though, he is racing in his hometown this weekend. Jupiter, Florida, right down the street. 56.255 for the hometown driver. It's good enough for the top spot. Not anymore, though. It's his old adversary, Robert Wickens, the DTM driver. Throws down a flyer. 56.239. That's good enough for Wickens. Your round 1 winner of the Florida Winter Tour was Robert Wickens. Your round 2 winner was Oliver Askew. We're here in West Palm to settle it once and for all between Askew and Wickens. Robert, a DTM driver, essentially it's the Formula One of sports car racing. He competes throughout all of Europe throughout the season, and DTM cars are just incredibly technologically advanced race cars. If you ever get the chance to go up and see one in person, you have to. Robert and I have spent some time talking about them, and they are incredible machines, and he stays in karting so that he can be as good as he possibly can when he gets back to Europe to race on the big stage in DTM. And boy, is he getting the challenge of his life in Oliver Askew for the DD2 championship. Wickens scored that round 1 victory back in Homestead in January. We went to Ocala last month. Askew bested him there, but only after him and Wickens had an epic battle. And now we're here in Palm Beach to try and find out who's going to walk away with the championship trophy. DD2, again, unfortunately low numbers, but man, when you have 2 guys like Wickens and Askew doing the racing, I don't mind. Christian Munoz is now down to 5th after Marco Signoretti goes to 3rd. Bizzotto, we saw him in Homestead. He missed Ocala. He's back in Palm Beach. He runs 4th. Munoz is 5th. McCarthy, they call him Sloth. He runs 6th. Luke Chudley runs 7th. And then in DD2 Masters, you have Luis Schiavo. Schiavo bumps up to 7th overall, dropping Chudley to 8th. Sebastian Herrera is 9th. And then Dieter Carr runs 10th. That is a name and a half right there. Dieter Carr in 10th. Ethan Simoni falls to 12th. Christian Corneo 13th. Moises de la Vera and Ronnie Sensor round out your top 15. There's Askew bringing him out of turn number 10 down the back straightaway. He'll hit the hairpin, turn number 11. It's all about getting that inside tire to lift up and get the chassis to jack as they roll through the turn 11 hairpin. Now back on the power on the front straightaway. Here comes Askew. It's a 57.281. Not a very good lap at all. He needs to beat a 55.7 if he wants to lead this field to the green flag. You see Alessandro Bizzotto and Marco Signoretti heading down into turn 3. Bizzotto a little narrow on entry. Maybe trying to get the front end to grab the track a little bit quicker. That's why he's throwing the kart in earlier. Out of turn 4, there you see a pack coming through turn 5. Now the right-hander, turn 6. All the corners here at Palm Beach, very long, very flowing. And as Chris talked about, it's all about the rhythm. In life, it's all about the rhythm. And in karting, too, it's all about the rhythm. It's always helpful when the people in timing and scoring know much more than me, which no matter where I go usually is the case. Turns out Dieter Carr's name is not Dieter Carr. It's DDA Carr, driver of the 409. Birel. DDA currently runs 10th. Oliver Askew, you don't really need to twang your voice to say his name. He goes purple, 55.660 for the Jupiter, Florida driver. Less than 30 seconds to go here in the qualifying session. The PSL boys are up on top of the trailer watching their driver. Can he hold on to the top spot? Oh, he does good there, 55.6. Askew chopping some wood here at home. The good news for everybody at the track is that the PA is not working, so they cannot hear my voice. So qualifying is a pretty peaceful endeavor here at Palm Beach this weekend. Mojo Tires bringing you our DD2 qualifier as the clock is going to strike 0. Cam Egger drops the checkers on him Askew a 55.603. Boy, did he pick the right time to lay down the flyers. He comes through the last couple of corners, out of 9 through 10 now. He'll head for 11. Does Askew hit pit lane? Does he go to the scales here? Doesn't look like it. He's going to put the head down and try to improve on his lap one more time. 55.603 is what he's wanting to beat. Out of the final corner, down the front straightaway. It's a race all by himself. Askew at the line. 55.458. 3 laps in a row, and they're all purple. Not bad for Oliver Askew. What about Robert Wickens? Does he have anything? He should be heading through turn 11 now. Looking to complete lap number 9. Wickens is going to come out of the final corner and aim for the line here, if that is the Marinello, who I believe is piloted by Wickens. No, Wickens may be done. We see him with 8 laps. Michael McCarthy brings the Anderson Racing Burrell up to 3rd. Marco Signoretti 4th. And then Dev Gore, the Tri-Coastal driver, rounds out your Fast 5. Bizotto is 6th. Munoz 7th. Chudley, Simone, and Schiavo, your top 10. But it's Oliver Askew. All Oliver here at home at Palm Beach Karting, the track where that driver started his career. And he's starting the weekend off with a pole. Good job for PSL Karting and Oliver Askew. AM Racing Engines Micro Max category is coming up next, so stick with us, folks. So now on track, it is our penultimate qualifying session. That means, that's a big fancy word for second to last, I believe. It is the AM Racing Engines Micromax category. Victor Pedrosa, don't worry, your transponder is picking up because Brandon Tyner just went purple on lap number 1. Andre Victor, these days, they're all just the same great Pedrosa to me. Andre Pedrosa, Brandon Tyner, his driver, minute 4.751. Josh Pearson up to 2nd after 1 lap. Arsenault is 3rd. Ian Aguilera-Atuart is 4th. And then Emo Fittipaldi is 5th. Karsten DeFont 6th. Jack Jeffers, he led him off pit lane. He's 7th currently. Jeremy Fletcher is 8th. Miss Paige Crawford is 9th after showing up last night to West Palm from New York. And then James Agozi rounds out your top 10. Here comes a big pack of cards to complete their opening 2 laps. Drafting, certainly a part of the game as we see Paige Crawford take him down into turn number 1. So like a lot of concrete right there. The carts get way out of control, a little slick. Then they come through turn 2 before they set up for the long shot. Pearson's going to take a look to the inside as they head to turn number 3. Pearson's working on a position there. Oh, boy, and that's taking him a little bit longer than he'd like. He finally gets around the driver as they roll through turn 4 and out the far end of the track. They'll hit the long, lazy left-hander, turn number 5. And then it's a shot to the right-hander, turn number 6. That spits you out immediately off of corner exit right into the left-hander, turn at number 7. Pearson in the middle of a big pack. It looks like Crawford is also there as well. And it's through 8 the right-hander 9, over the left-hander 10, and then down the back straightaway into turn 11. This is probably the most flowing track from left to right-handers, long straightaway into short corners that we've been to all year. Big fan of Palm Beach. I'm becoming, after only a few days here. I really enjoy watching karts go around the track here. And when we get racing in about 45 minutes, it's going to be a lot of fun as we kick things off with a senior max. Let's take a look at the leaderboard now. James Agozi, minute 3.381, the young Floridian driver, showing the way to Josh Pearson. Agozi on the Bennick, Pearson on the Tony kart, Agozi with Team Bennick, and Pearson with Rollison Performance Group. Then you have Justin Arsenault, the Burrell driver from Canada. I believe he's running with Ben Cooper Racing. Juan Pablo Cepeda runs fourth, and then Marcelo. Oh, man, I'm always bad at this kid's name. Panchia runs fifth. I don't think that's correct. Ashton Torgerson is sixth. Brandon Tyner, seventh. Fletcher, Trisney, and Ettort, the top 10. And as our leaders come through turn 2, there you see the white shirt of Scott Nelson, the man who makes things happen here at max speed. As our drivers roll through turns 1 and 2, you'll catch him. He's down there putting his body in a pretty precarious position to get our signage up and taken care of. Scott Nelson, one of the many, many important members of the Max Speed Entertainment staff that put on these races week in and week out. Scott's a young guy from South Beach, Florida, down in Miami, who doesn't know a thing about karting and never even had heard about him until last year when he came out to work with us. And these racers have gotten to know Scott, I think, and he's gotten to know them and really enjoy this job and the racing. And my point is, folks, is that Max Speed puts on great races all year here in the United States, and it's because of the staff that they have. And Scott is one of those members. You see another one there in Cameron Egger, Gina French, one of our assistant race directors, Chris Egger, our national race director. It's just a good team of people. Just like all these racers need a good team to help them get on track and go fast, Max Speed has a great team of officials that put on these races. Our drivers head down into turn 3. Let's check back in. It's a long 12-minute session here for our mini and micro drivers. Josh Pearson now on top, minute 2.984. For the young Oregon driver, Arsenault up to second on the Burrell. Agozi down to third. Trisney fourth. And then Carson DeFonts from Connecticut rounds out your top 5. Medford, Oregon's Ashton Torgerson is 6th. Brandon Tyner comes from the great state of Texas. He runs in 7th. Ian Aguilera Attart from Mexico runs 8th. Andres Asmar and Juan Pablo Cepeda, your top 10. Jack Jeffers is 11th. Panchia is 12th. Crawford is 13th. Young Nikita Johnson on the Fernando Alonso kart is 14th. Jeremy Fletcher, uncharacteristically outside of the top 10 as the Team Felon driver, runs 15th. Jesse Carrasquedo is 16th. Leonardo Juncos falls to 18th as Emo Fittipaldi moves up to 17th. Jankowski and Costa round out the top 20 here in Micromax qualifying. Micromax drivers, the youngest competitors here in Rotax karting in North America. The big news coming out recently, Minimax and Micromax drivers extended an invitation to compete at the Grand Finals in Italy. No way that'll go bad. So with about 2 minutes to go here in the session, let's take a look at how they run. Here comes Josh Pearson, bringing them through turns 6 and 7. He'll hit 8, 9, and 10 right in front of the tower. The view here in the tower, folks, is fantastic as clock clicks down. Minute and a half to go here. Pearson looking good, but he's chasing an old adversary from the Can-Am, the Northwest. It's Ashton Torgerson, Crashing Ashton, as his mom calls him, leads the way here. Minute 2.909. Josh Pearson in second, and then it's Arsenault third, Agozi fourth, Carrasquedo in fifth. And this is so cool to see Ashton Torgerson and Josh Pearson up at the front. Scott Nelson climbs high above the barriers to take a look at the on-track action. Ashton Torgerson and Josh Pearson. Torgerson hails from Medford, Oregon. Pearson hails from Wilsonville, Oregon. They both compete in Mike Rollison's Can-Am Karting Challenge during the summer up in the Pacific Northwest. And those two kids in Micromax last year put on arguably some of the best racing that I got to see and call working for Raleigh last year. And to see them take what they learned competing against each other at the local regional level to fighting for the pole position at the national stage here in Florida is so cool. I'm not from Oregon. I'm not from the Northwest, but the connection I have with these kids, it makes me feel awesome to see them running this well. 10 seconds on the clock here as it's going to strike zero. I'm looking for Pearson to see where he and Torgerson are. Pearson and Torgerson are nose to bumper. No, that's Torgerson. Pearson's heading into turn 3 now. They're on their final lap. Karsten DeFonts has moved his way into second now, so the Pacific Northwest tandem is broken up by a Connecticut driver from the Northeast. Karsten DeFonts goes to second. They're all on their final lap here. This is going to be an interesting checkered flag run here. Anything can change as they fly through the infield section. So they come out of turn number 7. They'll hit the S's, 8, 9, and 10. Arsenault leads them. We're looking for Pearson. He's out in front of James Agozi. Down the back straightaway, they'll head for turn 11 one last time. Torgerson on top with a minute 2.9. And then it's DeFonts with a minute 2.9. And Pearson all in a minute 2.9. Checkered flag in the air at the line. Let's see if there's a change up at the front. No. Ashton stays on top. What about Pearson? Does he have anything at the line? No. The top three are not going to change. Torgerson from Medford, Oregon stays on top. DeFont in second. Pearson, Arsenault, and Agozi are your top five. Carrasquedo sixth. Atart seventh. Trisney, Cepeda, and Tyner are your top 10. Janelle Pearson, I know you got a shout out for your driver. We're going to get to that in a moment. But Micromax qualifying is in the books. We are done here, folks. One more qualifier to go, and it is Junior Max. So stick with us. You're watching live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour here on MaxSpeed, partnered up with motorsport.com. On track now, it's our final qualifier of the weekend here. Junior Max, brought to you by Kuna USA. Nicholas Bruckner from Hockley, Texas shows the way. The 274 from Morse Lawn Racing out in front of Matias Ramirez. Bruckner kind of showing some speed that we haven't seen so far in 2016 at the Winter Tour. He's been fast over on the West Coast at Challenge of the Americas, but has yet to put the pieces together down here in Florida. Arthur Least, we saw him run very well in Homestead. He's third. Manuel Suleiman is fourth. Riley Dickinson fifth. Matthew Latifi moves into the P5 spot, actually. Bruckner goes purple, 58.761. Matias Ramirez, P2. D'Orlando from New York now jumps up to the third position. A whole lot of shuffling here. Ryan McDermott, now the Canadian, on top, 58.369. Matias Ramirez stays in second. Nicholas Bruckner falls all the way to third. Riley Dickinson and Tavella are your top five. Michael D'Orlando now shows the way here in qualifying. Matias Ramirez flies past. That should be Bruckner heading down into turn number one. Matias Ramirez jumps to the top with that last lap, 57.825. D'Orlando to second, Aiden Keel third. Stephen Malozzi, wow, what a great run for the New York driver in the 211. He switched over from Oakland Valley Race Park's tent last weekend, or last month, at Ocala, and now he's running with Charlie Swain in the Iron Rock Motorsport tent, and it seemed to have helped as Malozzi is fourth quick, out in front of guys like Matt Latifi, Dylan Tavella, Lachlan DiFrancesco. It's always funny. Stephen Malozzi's dad came up to me in Homestead this January at the opening round, and he said, "You know what? Stephen just wants you to talk about him. He just wants to hear his name mentioned, and so he knows that he's got to run up front." And the kid has been motivated to run really well, and it shows this season. He's really picked his game up from 2015, and he's currently running well here in qualifying. He's getting bumped down right now a few spots. He's still inside the top 10, though, 8th place, and then behind him is McDermott and De Alba. As D'Orlando just continues to lay down flyers here, 57.641 for the 251. Lachlan DiFrancesco, the Bennick, jumps all the way up to second. Matias Ramirez on the outside looking in right now as he is third. Leist and Cubitus, your top five. We also got to send a positive thought out to Harry Colton, one of the Anderson Racing drivers, and always someone we're talking a lot about here in Junior Max. Harry injured his ribs, I understand, back in Homestead, I think it was, earlier this season in January. And, if you've ever had a rib injury of any kind, you know it's excruciating pain. And then if you've ever had a rib injury and tried to race a car or a kart or anything at all, it's incredibly painful. And Harry re-injured his ribs yesterday morning during practice, I believe it was. And through some talk with his mom and his dad and some doctors on site, they pretty much just determined that the best move for the long term for Harry is to sit out this weekend's final round of the Winter Tour, and he's not here racing with us at the track this weekend. So we sure hope that Harry Colton gets to feeling better soon, but I can tell you, rushing a rib injury is not a wise idea. So Harry's family making the right call, in my opinion, to sit out the weekend. We wish he was here racing, but you can never be too careful with a rib injury. So Harry, from everybody at Max Speed, we're wishing you the best. Hope you get to feeling better. Michael D'Orlando trying to just put the ribbon on this one here and leave with the final pole position of 2016. 57.641 is where he runs right now. Ramirez is second. Little brother Nicholas D'Orlando runs third. Bruckner and DeFrancesco. Your top five. Malozzi's back up to sixth. Good run there. Latifi, McDermott, Leist, and Cubitus. Your top 10. Less than a minute to go here in the session. As drivers, that looks like Stephen Malozzi, and should be one of the D'Orlando brothers right there, coming out of turn 2 down the straightaway for the left-hander turn to number 3. Kuna USA bringing you the action this weekend in Junior Max. About 30 seconds to go here on the clock. There's Matias Ramirez and Nick Bruckner, a Floridian and a Texan driver, going head-to-head. As they come out of turn to number 9, over the kink in 10, down the back straight over to the hairpin, turn number 11. They're going to hit the stripe with about, I'm going to say, 8 or 9 seconds to go. So they'll get one more lap in here. There is Ramirez and Bruckner. Checkered flag is going to come out right about now. Cam Egger moves to the finish line to throw the checkered flag. There you see your first 3 drivers to pick it up. And that may have been Michael D'Orlando and Malozzi, as well as one of the J3 drivers. As you see Cam throwing the checkered flag over, gosh darn, one of the biggest start-finish lines I've ever seen in my life. You could lay down, roll around in that start-finish line. Have dinner. Do whatever you want, really, in that start-finish line. They say everything's bigger in Texas, Shelby, but not in Florida. The finish lines are pretty big. So it looks like the top 5 is going to stay the same here as our last couple carts make their way. Michael D'Orlando is going to end up on top with a 57.641. And then it's Ramirez, the OGP driver, in second. Little brother Nicholas D'Orlando is third. Bruckner really shows well here in qualifying. He's going to start on the outside of row number 2 in fourth. DeFrancesco fifth. And then New York's Stephen Malozzi in the 211 from Iron Rock Motorsports brings it home in sixth. Great run for Malozzi. Matt Latifi comes home seventh after a good run in Rock Cup last weekend. McDermott 8th. Least is 9th. Cubitus 10th. And then it's Aiden Keel in 11th. Riley Dickinson 12th. Waithman, De Alba, and Tavella, your top 15. Rounding out the top 20 will be Zach Hollingshead, Killian Meyer, Zazombar, Kovacs, Zoe Edenholm, and Kai Palomino. So that will do it in our Junior Max qualifier. We're going to take a short break here, folks, and we'll be back with live coverage of the first round of heat races here in Palm Beach. Stick with us, folks. I'm Tony Laporta. Chris Wheeler will be back in the booth here in just a bit, but Junior Max qualifying is done. Senior Max heat racing coming up next.
Test. 1, 2. Test. All right. Hey, we got microphone. We got PA system back. Hey. Test. Testing. 1, 2. Testing.
Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I think the track PA speakers are working now. So if they are, to everybody in the paddock, hello, and I apologize. I hope you enjoyed a silent qualifying session, but I'm back. Big thanks to Chris Wheeler, who helped us out with qualifying a little bit earlier today. He will be back for the last 3 rounds of heats later on this afternoon. On track now, it's the Rollison Performance Group Senior Max Heat Race number 1. If you've lived in Florida your whole life and you're used to this crazy hot, humid weather in March, you can get cold. And if you do, you can put on a comfortable Columbia RPG down hoodie, and that's what they're doing here in the motorsport.com suites and VIP tower. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's heat race. This is how they'll line up for all of our heat races this weekend. Yan Liang in the 311 will start 29th from Kuna, USA. Simone Pedrego and Austin Belosky make up row 14. Connor Ford from Texas and Mateo Diaz, a pair of Texans, make up row number 13. Lane Vicala starts 24th, and Hapeng Zhang will start in 12th. Hapeng Zhang, the world's youngest Tony Kart dealer from China, Dominic Tesoro and Logan Kusin make up row 11. Nicholas Hornbostel and Carson Kapka make up row 10. And I didn't realize they'd be to the starting line so quickly, so let's get ready to go. It's going to be Kirkwood and Mazzafaro up front, bringing them down into the tram lanes with Zachary Clayman DeMello and Oliver Askew behind in row number 2. Tram lanes look good, 2 by 2. Let's see a green flag. Cameron Egger, we're racing down into turn number 1. Askew gets a good jump on the outside. You don't see that often, and they stack up. It's a parking lot down in turn 11. That looked like possibly Matt Solarczyk up on Luke Selikin as they battle down into turn 1. Clayman DeMello, it was a drag race between he and Kyle Kirkwood. Kirkwood hard on the brakes to the inside. He leads him. Clayman DeMello gives Kirkwood a shot heading down the straightaway leading from turn 2 to turn 3. Kirkwood's going to have to go on the defense here as Clayman DeMello looks to the inside in 4, and he's through. The intrepid driver from Canada to the front. Clayman DeMello leads them out of turn 6 now. They'll head for the right-hander, turn number 7. Clayman DeMello, Kirkwood, Askew, Mazzafaro, and then, Askew forces his way on Kirkwood. Askew now up to P through. They roll through turns 9 and 10 in front of us in the tower. Down the back straightaway. They'll head for 11, and just like that, lap number 1 is in the books. 9 to go as Clayman DeMello shows the way. It was a parking lot down in turn 11 off the green flag to start this race, and that is what has given us the big gaps from pack of carts to pack of carts. There into the motorsport.com complex. Turns 1 and 2, you see your front 5 nose to tail as they unwind the steering wheel through 2. Now down the straightaway, heading for the long, lazy left-hander, turn number 3. Mazzafaro pulls down to defend his position against Jordan Sherritt, the Dallas Karting Complex driver on the Sodi card. Clayman DeMello that last time by, laid down good lap. Askew made his intentions known when he got around Kyle Kirkwood. That looks like Lane Vicala, the J3 comp car driver, with the cart up in the air in one of the cutoffs. He's got problems early on here. Out of 8. Now they'll head for 9 and the right-hander 10. It's just a flick of the wrist, and they're down the back straightaway to complete another lap. Big run here for Clayman DeMello. I got to watch him race last weekend in St. Petersburg as he is contesting in the Indy Lights Championship, presented by Cooper Tires. And now he's here racing in the Rollison Performance Group Senior Max category. Askew to the inside in turn 1 for the lead, and he's through. The Jupiter, Florida hometown driver to the point. Askew out in front. Vicala challenges back in 3, though. I'm sorry, that's Clayman DeMello, not Vicala. Clayman DeMello takes the lead back on the exit of turn 2, the entry into turn number 3. So the Canadian back out in front of the Floridian driver. Clayman DeMello working the corners here as they come through turn 7, now 8. They'll hit 9 and 10. Good racing here in the lead for Senior Max. Let's see what Askew has for Clayman DeMello. Battle for position as it looks like that's going to be Mazzafaro battling with Jordan Sherritt. Mazzafaro is going to get the 4th position. 3rd is still Kirkwood. Askew 2nd. Clayman DeMello, your leader. Kirkwood with a good run down into turn 1. Askew to the inside for lap number 2, and he gets it again. Askew to the lead in turn 1. but this is exactly what we saw happen last time. Now Clayman DeMello's got to play defense, as it's going to be Kirkwood working on the inside, heading to 3. No, Kirkwood not close enough, but that bunches the top 5 up once again, and that allows 6th place Darren Keene and 7th place rookie David Malukas to join this 5-cart train up at the front, now led by Oliver Askew. Clayman DeMello, your early leader, runs in 2nd. Kirkwood 3rd. Mazzafaro 4th. Clayman DeMello back to the inside in 7. He's through. Good moves here by Clayman DeMello. They're getting jiggy with it early on here in Senior Max, folks. Clayman DeMello. Oh, but Askew to the inside in 11. He's there, and he's going to bring Kirkwood with him. Kirkwood and Askew freight train the Canadian. Now Kirkwood, he's not done yet. He wants a piece of the action up front. Clayman DeMello is going to force the issue in 1. He's back to P2. And this is what Oliver Askew wants. Oliver needs Kirkwood and Clayman DeMello to battle it out amongst themselves. That's going to allow him to drive out to a big lead. Now we see the biggest lead we've seen all day early on in this heat race, as Askew leads Clayman DeMello by at least 5 cart lengths. Then it's back to Mazzafaro in 3rd, Kirkwood in 4th, as he's getting worked on by Darren Keene. That's your top 5. In 6th, it's going to be Jordan Sherritt. Malukas 7th. Rob up to 8th in his Senior Max debut. Bryce Choker and Christian Brooks are your top 10. Askew brings them through the S's, out of 9 through 10. Down the back straightaway, they'll head for turn 11. Let's take a look outside of the top 10 as we see Nicholas Hornbostel in 11th, Justin Oviero in 12th, Austin Garrison. What happened there? He's in 13th, but the quickest driver on track. Tesoro is 14th. Cussin rounds out your top 15. Now our new quickest driver is Stingray the Potato Rob, the 370. He, the quickest driver on track, 57.214. Up front, it's just the 2 now of Askew and Clayman DeMello. Big gap back to Kirkwood in 30. He must have made a move and washed out Mazzafaro. As we see those guys getting together a little bit down in turn 1, everybody stays on track, keeps rolling, but it's definitely made a big gap between 1st and 2nd, back to 3rd on the rest of the pack. Askew leading Clayman DeMello. Zach driving the best we've seen him drive all season. As we've just reached the halfway point, they'll come down to see 4 laps to go. Don't forget, folks, you can catch up with live timing on Race Monitor if you've got yourself a fancy smartphone. Race Monitor is up and running if you want to see these lap times. We're broadcasting our live audio and video on the Race Monitor app. Man, Clayman DeMello is not letting Askew get away. That time by a 57.283. Clayman a 57.279. Clayman about 1/100th of a second quicker that last time by than Oliver Askew. And you can see it there as Clayman gets a great run through 3. Askew driving for the race win right now. Where you qualified earlier today is where you'll start all 3 heat races, and then based on how you finish in all 3 of those heats determines your starting position for the pre-final, and how you finish in that pre-final gives you your starting position for our main event Sunday afternoon. It's progressive heats here, or it's not progressive heats rather. It's all about the overall average and how you finish in those 3 heats to set you up for the pre-final. Beautiful shot right there of turns 9 and 10, and then down the back straightaway, it looks like a fight. Stingray Rob's got Christian Brooks on the inside. Brooks is going to get the position. Brooks and Rob have made the CRG. They've been the revival for CRG in this country. Brooks battles back, but Rob's going to get him. Garrison runs up on the back of Rob in 1, and it's going to bring Brooks, Rob, and Garrison all to the outside of turn 1. Yeah, Austin Garrison just came into turn 1 a little hot and got up on the back of Stingray Rob's right rear wheel. It's an easy mistake and not one you're going to see Garrison make very often, but that was Austin Garrison carrying a bit too much speed through turn 1. Stingray Rob, unfortunately the victim when it was all said and done. They should be coming down here to see the sticks, 2 to go when they get to the line. Oliver Askew doing a good job of trying to stabilize the lead over Zachary Clayman DeMello. Out of the final corner down the front straightaway, there you see Cam Egger showing them the sticks, the rolled up white and checkered flag, letting these leaders know that 2 laps remain. Oh, Clayman DeMello with a big run down in turn 1. He was skirting and skating all over the place, and that was a power move if I've ever seen one. The fear is, though, did he make it too early? Oliver Askew had no idea Clayman DeMello was going in there when he did, and he made a beautiful pass. That turn one is so slick, folks, with that fresh concrete. You transition from asphalt, and I'd say the last 300, 400 feet, and it turns into that white concrete, and there's no grip there. And how Clayman DeMello kept that cart in a straight line, I don't know. But he made a fantastic move on Oliver Askew for the lead. He's got one lap to defend it, and he'll have won heat race number one. Down the back straightaway into turn 11. Askew's not close enough. This is going to be a last lap you're going to want to see, folks. Get to the fence. White flag flies. Clayman DeMello trying to score his first heat race victory of the 2016 season. Clayman DeMello defends hard. Askew's there, and Kirkwood catches up. It's a three-way battle for the lead. Out of turn two, they head for the turn three, the long left-hander. Clayman DeMello defending hard. Askew trying to make the outside work, but that's going to be easier said than done. Into turn four. Now Mazzafaro around Kirkwood for third. Askew still fighting hard in second, and it's Clayman DeMello running for his life here with half of a lap to go down the backside through 7. Now they'll hit the left-hander. Turn number 8. Clayman DeMello with a good-sized gap. I'll call it 5 cart lengths over Oliver Askew. Askew's going to need an exit shot from heaven. I don't think he's going to get it. Out of turn 10, down the back straightaway, 1 corner to go. They'll head for the hairpin. Turn number 11. Dive bomb by Mazzafaro. He can't get to Askew. Checkered flags are going to fly over the Canadian. Zachary Clayman DeMello. What a battle. Oliver Askew sits out the entire Florida Winter Tour in Senior Max, comes back to run in the final race of the year, and he's got a new challenger. They've all got a new challenger in the form of Clayman DeMello. Folks, that's just the first heat race of the day. Askew finishes up second, Mazzafaro third, Kirkwood fourth, Sherritt fifth. Darren Keene from Orsalon Racing finishes sixth, Malukas seventh. Bryce Choker from BBR Karting brings it home eighth, Oviero ninth, Capica rounds out your top 10. Christian Brooks ends up 11th with Greco in 12th. Cusin 13th, Tesoro and Belaski your top 15. Luke Selikin from Oregon is 16th, while Connor Ford of Texas is 17th. Hapeng Zhang, 18th. Simone Perego, 19th. Nicholas Hornbostel rounds out the top 20. Matt Solarsik was involved in the lap 1, turn 1 incident. He finishes 21st. Yan Liang does very well, coming from his dead last starting position of 29th to finish 23rd. Mateo Diaz and Austin Garrison round out the top 25. So that will do it in Senior Max. They should be done for the day. They are. Their heat races will get back tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. But it's Zachary Clayman DeMello letting them know that he is not messing around here in Senior Max. Clayman DeMello with a power move down in turn number 1 with 2 to go. He is your winner. So we're going to get ready now to move on to Masters Max as their heat race number 1 is on the grid. It's going to be Michelle Aboisa and North Carolina's Nick Tucker bringing them down. So we see our Masters Max drivers making their way through the last couple of corners. They'll get gridded up 2 by 2. It's Aboisa and Nick Tucker, your front row, with Adrian Ortiz and last year's Grand National champion Scott Roberts in row number 2. Big Bobby Green starts 5th with Daniel Robertson in 6th, Alessandro De Luca, and David Shatak, as the green flag is not going to fly here. No, it is! Cam Egger throws the green. I was looking at one of our other race directors, Roberts, with contact. He's going to get 2 wheels up in the air, but keeps going in the right direction. Boyce out to a big lead early on here, and is that, I think that's Bobby Green in second, now to third, as Bobby Green and Scott Roberts, 2 former members of Team USA, go side by side. Coming out of turn 2, Bobby Green is not messing around, folks. He wants the second position as they drag race down into 3, but Roberts is going to make the outside line work. Whoever said there was no outside line in a kart race? I don't know, but Scott Roberts just proved him wrong. Bobby Green held an epic line heading down into turn 1, but it was Roberts who kept his foot in the gas on the outside and flat-tracked it around to P2. So Masters Max off and rolling here. Boyce is going to come by us here underneath the tower. He will lead lap number 1. I think it was Nick Tucker who might have been involved in that dust-up over off the green flag in turn 11, which is the first turn drivers hit off the green flag. You'll see the finishing, or you'll see the running order circulate on Race Monitor now. Bobby Green not backing off of Scott Roberts at all. But yeah, you see a Boyce here leader, Roberts P2, Bobby Green, Robertson, and Shatak, your top 5. Nick Tucker falls all the way from 2nd down to 9th after a dust-up in turn number 1. Keep an eye on Tucker, though. Him and Raleigh have been working hard all winter tour. And Nick Tucker, the guy's going to have speed. It's just going to be interesting to watch him come from the back here in our first heat race. I'm looking for him. I want to make sure he's still on track. Yeah, there he is, but he is way back there. So that's not going to help his pre-final starting position, unfortunately. That's really going to hamper where he starts that pre-final later on this weekend. So now we watch as Bobby Green continues to work on Scott Roberts here. That's the fight for second. Roberts in the bright green and orange helmet, and then Bobby Green in just that bright orange helmet. Like I said, both these guys are former members of Team USA, meaning that they have both earned the right to represent the United States of America at the Rotax Grand Finals. The year Bobby Green went, it was 2014. I had the pleasure of going along and watching him as Green battles to the inside in turn 11 for second. He's through. Oh, he almost washed out wide there and allowed Roberts to get back around. But Green is dealing right now. He's going to defend down into turn number 1. Great shot right there. As Scott Roberts is not going to have anything for him. But as I was saying, Bobby Green made the trip back in 2014 to race in Masters Max. 72 drivers in each category, and Bobby Green was one of those who went along to represent Team USA. And then Scott Roberts made the trip last year in 2015 after he won the U.S. Grand Nationals in Kershaw, South Carolina. Both those drivers did a great job of representing their home country. And Bobby Green really finding some speed right now that we haven't seen throughout the 2016 Winter Tour, as he's running in second place right now. And believe it or not, starting to pull away from Scott Roberts just a little bit. And then behind them in fourth place is going to be the Tony Kart of Daniel Robertson. And they're all chasing one man, Michelle Aboisa. Every session that I can remember that I've called this season, Aboisa's name has been lit up purple at one point or another during official sessions this year. The guy is always fast. And right now, he's out in front. Last time by the lead from Aboisa back to Green, 3.5 seconds, and it's not shrinking. Aboisa out in front. Green in second. Scott Roberts third. Robertson and Shatak, your top 5. De Luca is 6th. Peter Corto 7th. Peter Hecht is 8th. Nick Tucker, your off-pole starter, down to 9th. And then it looks like Adrian Ortiz and Christoph Adams either no-shows or were involved in that turn 1 incident and were not able to continue. So of our 11 drivers, 9 are on track. Michelle Boysa out in front. And Nick Tucker running 9th. Man, Bobby Green is pulling away from Scott Roberts right now. The gap last time by from Green back to Roberts, 0.4 of a second. Let's see what it is here. It's got to be bigger. Darn near a second is what I'm betting it has to be. It's 0.8 of a second from P2 back to P3. So great laps here by Bobby Green. Last time by a 59.6. Roberts a minute flat. So Roberts, I don't think anything's wrong with the kart, but maybe that battle with Bobby Green threw him off a little bit mentally. I have no idea, honestly. The kart went away for about a lap and a half. Now it's back as he's pulling away from Daniel Robertson. But Bobby Green out in front as they're coming down to see 4 to go when they get back to the line here. Michelle Boyes is showing the way here in Masters Max. This category brought to you by GP Falcone. Should have our Mini-Max drivers on the grid. Not sure if our PA speakers are working or not, but if you guys can hear this, Mini-Max drivers need to be on the grid. So as we keep an eye on our second, third, and fourth place drivers here, all these drivers out here this weekend are competing on Mojo Tires. Mojo Tires, the class sponsor for DD2 and DD2 Masters. And speaking of Mojo Tires, not like I just started that whole spiel to bring this up, tire changing championships will be taking place this weekend at the end of the Florida Winter Tour. And we want to let you guys know that the championship has been moved up to 5 p.m. tonight. Looking like weather problems would hamper our efforts to hold a tire-changing contest or race tomorrow night. So this is one of your first warnings. The tire changing has been moved up to 5 p.m. tonight. It was scheduled for tomorrow night, but it will be at 5 p.m. tonight. All registered participants meet at the grid at 5 p.m. and beer equals free. That's what I'm being told. So we invite everybody to attend our tire changing championships. All registered participants, you need to be at the grid before 5 p.m. That's what time we are getting going. So please let your fellow competitors know. I know Mario. I believe Wes Boswell. Mario, can you hear me? The tire changing contest has been moved to 5 p.m. tonight. Wes Boswell will be there. I think I saw Garrett Potter's name on the list. Shelby Jocelyn's going to be trying to change a few sets of tires. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys are there 5 p.m. tonight. Boys driving away into the sunset here. Heat race number 1. Closing down. Bobby Green, the big surprise, at least if you ask me. Well, I guess the bigger surprise is Nick Tucker getting involved in that lap 1 incident that took him from off pole all the way down to 9th place, last running kart on the track. So as the white flag flies here at Palm Beach, Michele Boisa making his way out of turn 9 over the right-hander, turn number 10. He'll head through the tram lanes and into turn 11. You'll see the checkered flag waving when he gets to the other side. Boisa is going to bring home heat number 1 here in Masters Max. It's a long weekend, folks, but he's off to a good start. Boisa, your winner. Bobby Green with really good runs here. 59.623 to end it. 59.3 his best lap overall. Green comes home in second place, 5 seconds off of winner Michele Boisa. And then Roberts rounds out your top 3 with Daniel Robertson and Alessandro De Luca, your top 5. Pete Hecht saves his best lap of the race for the last lap. And that's David Shatok in 7th. No, Tucker gets him at the line for P7. Shatok falls to 8th, and Courteau rounds out the field right there in 9th position. So Masters Max is done. We're one and done when it comes to heat races today here, folks. There goes Boisa out of the last couple of corners. He'll hit the scale line. Coming up next, it will be Mini Max's heat race number 1. So get on the fence, get somewhere you can see it. Don't forget, folks, send us a few shout-outs. Whatever you're doing, wherever you're watching from, let us know at live@floridawintertour.com. Again, email us live@floridawintertour.com if you've got a driver or a team member, a mechanic, a tuner, an official, a broadcast producer, a chief of timing and scoring. If you want to say hello to anybody, send us an email, and we'll be sure to pass the message along. Mini-Max coming up next.
The 2016 Safina, Florida Winter Tour. Presented by Fixie Wheels. In partnership with Motorsport.com and Ritmo Mundo.
So now it's time for Minimax, PSLKarting.com, bringing you our Minimax racing all season here at the Florida Winter Tour. It's going to be Tyler Gonzalez and Emiliano Richards bringing them down from the front row. Matias Morgado and Jade Hubert start 3rd and 4th. Jeremy Fairbairn, he's always making fun of me on the grid. He starts 5th. Noel Jesus Leon Vasquez is 6th. Then it's Aiden Fox and Caleb Bacon starting in row number 4. Austin Torgerson and Arias Duke Medjin round out your top 10. Montoya and Sundramurthy are 11th and 12th. And it's Curran and Ho in row 7th. And Giovanni and Chloe Chambers start 15th and 16th. Gonzalez and Richards bring them through the last couple of corners. They're going to put them in the tram lanes. And we're going to get ready to turn them out here for a quick 8-lap heat race to set the starting grid for our pre-final, our first of 3 heat races. That will do that. Gonzalez on the inside, Richards on the outside, into the tram lanes. Let's get ready to go racing. Cameron Egger, what do you say? They line up 2 by 2, and we're green. They take off down into turn number 11. Richards wanted to make a move down to the inside, could not find the space. He falls back from the outside of row number 1. Gonzalez takes a look over the right shoulder. They fly down the front straightaway. They'll head for that right-hander turn number 1. The dust gets kicked up. Oh, boy! They all slide wide on the exit, but everybody stays pointing in the right direction. They bottleneck in turn 2. But Gonzalez takes him down the straightaway, and he is a half a lane low trying to defend that front position, and he does a good job as they get out of turn 3. Now they hit the late apex. Right-hander, turn number 4. They spill out. They got to get back to the right side of the track to set up for the left-hander. Turn number 5 at the far end. Now they barrel into the infield. The right-hander, turn 6. The long right-hander that right on corner exit, you get spit out into the left-hander. Turn number 8. It's an early apex. Now the right-hander, turn number 9. Into the S's. Out of that, into the right-handers. Turn 10, over the dog leg, down the back straightaway, through the woods, and into turn 11. Lap number 1 in the books here at Palm Beach. Gonzalez starting to pull away slightly from Emiliano Richards. You see all the tuners watching eagerly from the crow's nest here above the scale grid tech area at Palm Beach. Lap number 1 in the books, and you see Gonzalez out in front, Matias Morgado, Jade Hubert, Richards, and Fairbairn all fighting inside that top 5. There's Jade Hubert. She's up to the 3rd position now with Morgado right behind her. The young Brazilian ran very well back in the U.S. Open of Las Vegas back on Halloween weekend. He's trying to double up here with a strong result to end the Florida Winter Tour. Here you see Gonzalez out in front, and then it should be Emiliano Richards behind him in 2nd. And you see Jade Hubert in 3rd, Morgado and Fairbairn, your top 5, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all over each other right now. And then that looks like Aiden Fox, the New York driver, running in 6th on the white Tony kart with Oakland Valley Race Park. That's Tim Hannon's track up in Cutterbackville, New York, one of the most physically demanding and technically challenging racetracks I've ever seen in my life. It's no surprise that you have talented drivers like Anthony Ganji, Dylan Tavella, the D'Orlando brothers racing here in Florida when they all come from a place like New York. And I'll be darned if the kid I'm talking about doesn't loop it down in turn 1 right when I start singing his praises. So, yeah, that's the old commentator's curse, I guess, right there. Aiden, I'm sorry. We'll watch for him to move his way up the pack here. Up front, it is still Tyler Gonzalez in that white helmet. I think he said they're going to start a GoFundMe to get that helmet painted, honestly. But the joke is that it's not painted, but it makes him so distinguishable. He's the only driver out there with a pure white lid, and it makes him easy to pick out. Although it looks like we got a Burrell driver here who also should have an all-white helmet. It's going to be the 131. I believe that's Dale Curran. It is. Dale Curran in the 131, also rocking the cue ball. Everybody knows that if you don't have a $2,000 paint job, you cannot win these races. And Tyler Gonzalez is proving them wrong. 3rd and 4th are now starting to reel in 2nd place driver. So Gonzalez out in front by about 0.8 of a second. As I was saying, 2nd place is starting to get reeled in by 3rd and 4th. That should be Emiliano Richards and Jade Hubert catching up to 2nd place driver Matias Morgado. At least that's what I'm showing. I was confused earlier. I thought Jade Hubert was in 3rd and Matias Morgado was in 4th, but I think I'm wrong. I want to take a look at the numbers as they come by here down the front straightaway. The 120 of Emiliano Richards in 4th, actually. So Matias Morgado is the driver in 2nd. But he's being caught up to pretty quickly by Jade Hubert and Emiliano Richards as they fly down into turn number 3. Yeah, Jade Hubert and Emiliano Richards are right on Matias Morgado's back bumper. They're almost there on the exit of the corners. They're doing really well at closing up on him under braking. Gonzalez just trying to run clean laps here to the finish, as they're going to come down to see 3 to go. We've just passed the halfway point. 4 down, 4 to go, 3 at the line. Gonzalez, your leader, and then it's going to be Matias Morgado in second, Hubert in third, Emiliano Richards in fourth, Jeremy Fairbairn, the Ocala Grand Prix driver, running fifth. The man they call Ponch is spinning the wrenches on Fairbairn this season. It seems to have worked out pretty well. Good runs in Homestead and Ocala. Oh, fight for second place as Jade Hubert gets around Matias Morgado. Hubert now to P2. That's going to drop Morgado back to third. What about Emiliano Richards? Richards now to the inside down in turn 3. Richards alongside. They're door to door. If these go-karts had doors, they don't. And Emiliano Richards stays in fourth place. Matias Morgado holds on to third. And Jade Hubert up in second. Jeremy Fairbairn running in fifth. Ponch, you've got a shout out, even though you probably can't hear it out there, from Morgan Healy. She says she much more enjoys being in the tower than being in a pit with you all weekend. So that's harsh. That's cold, fam. That's cold. They're going to see the sticks flying when they get to the other end of turn 11. 6 down, 2 to go. That's max speed math right there for you. Gonzalez dipping the head, trying to get as much of an aero advantage as possible. He lifts the visor, goes down to turn 1. Second place, Jade Hubert. And it's the AM racing drivers of Matias Morgado and Emiliano Richards fighting it out for third place right now. Morgado has the position. Richards pulls up alongside again, though, heading down into turn number 3, and he's got him. Richards. Oh, he got him. He got him. Good move right there. Gonzalez brings him through the S's one more time here. You can see the white flag flying. 7 down, 1 to go. And Gonzalez not slowing down. Minute flat, .261. He's the quickest driver on the track. Aiden Fox has done a good job of catching back up to the drivers that he let go by after he spun down in turn number 1, thanks to me talking about him. White flag in the air. Tyler Gonzalez, Jade Hubert, Richards, Morgado, your front 4. Fairbairn rounds out the top 5, and I just don't see any positions changing here in the final lap. Fairbairn's close to Morgado, but not close enough, as they all have a pretty good head of steam coming down the straightaway, heading for turn number 3. Yeah, Fairbairn's going to need Richards and Morgado to make a mistake if anything's going to happen in front of him. And then Jade Hubert, what a run for the young lady in Minimax. Super impressed by the progression of Jade throughout the winter tour this season. It's been fun to watch, and she's running so well here in Palm Beach. Through the S's for the final time, Gonzalez is going to take him down the back straightaway. He'll head for turn 11. Emiliano Richards is trying one last chance to get around Hubert for second, but it's not going to work. Out of the final corner, heat number 1 is going to go to Tyler Gonzalez in heat race for our Minimaxes. Jade Hubert comes home second, Richards third, Morgado fourth, Fairbairn fifth, and then Austin Torgerson ends up sixth, Duke Medjin seventh, Montoya eighth, Noel Jesus Leon Vasquez in ninth, and Caleb Bacon rounds out your top 10. Yuvan Sundramurthy runs in 11th, and again, positive thoughts and best wishes. We know James Dyer, Yuvan's mechanic, had to take off very early this morning back home to New York. All I know is a bit of a family emergency back there, so doubt he's watching the broadcast. But our best thoughts to James Dyer, Yuvan's mechanic. Hope everything's good back home. Chris Bogart taking over for the tuning responsibilities on Yuvan's kart this weekend. Dale Curran comes home 12th, Elio Giovanni 13th, Ethan Ho, and Aiden Fox, your top 15. So that will do it. Minimaxes are done. DD2 coming up next. Attention to the pits. Attention to the pits. We need cart 329 and 651 to the steward's office. We need drivers of carts 329 and 651 to the steward's office immediately, please. So the hits just keep on coming here at the Florida Winter Tour. Man, there's a lot of guys on the top of the PSL trailer. Oh, be safe up there, guys. And one of them's even standing on the railing. You guys live life on the edge. Whoa, radical, bros. All right, let's see if your driver can do it. Ask you, trying to pick up the victory in DD2. Yeah, I see you. Quit waving. All right. Here we go. Oliver Askew, Robert Wickens on the front row. It's a holy war. Mike McCarthy and Marco Signoretti in row number 2. Dev Gore and Bizzotto in row number 5. Let's get ready to drop the gloves and go DD2 senior racing. They're in the tram lanes. Cam Egger, what do you say? Let's go racing. Green flag in the air, and Askew's off like a bullet. Wickens dives down to the inside, and Signoretti's trying to make something happen on the outside. Wickens is going to end up P2. Where is Signoretti? 3rd, 4th, 5th. Oh, not a good start for Marco Signoretti. And the DD2 Masters drivers are off with their green flag here on the exit of turn number 11. So we're off and racing here with both packs of our DD2 and DD2 Masters drivers. Man, Askew timed that start hashtag perfectly. He got away from the green flag like he was shot out of a cannon. Robert Wickens did a good job of not losing any ground on the outside of turn number 1. He runs in 2nd. And then you got a lot of other big names in this category. I know you got Alessandro Bizzotto. He looks like he's running 4th. And then I want to see who this is going to be in 3rd. That's Dev Gore from PSL in 3rd place. Dev Gore's with Anderson. I apologize. Jake Motop, please. Please do not shoot me. Dev Gore is with Anderson. Anderson Promotions, a great company. Oh, no, I see Chris Egger, I think, jogging. That's never good. So, yeah, I do want to clean that up. It's Askew leading from PSL, and then Michael McCarthy is with Anderson in 3rd place. They're pitted right next to each other. Sometimes it's confusing. The carts look the same. I read a book about karting last night, and it didn't mention anything about same chassis, different teams. Askew out in front, Robert Wickens 2nd, Mike McCarthy 3rd, Bizzotto 4th, and then Signoretti on the Energy came off of a podium last month in Ocala. He runs currently in the 5th position now, and then Dev Gore back to 6th, Munoz and Simone. Now let's take a look at our DD2 Masters drivers, because you need to give those guys some love. Luis Schiavo, Christian Cornio, and Rodrigo Espina are their top 3 after getting the staggered start. And then in 4th place, it's going to be Ronnie Sensor, John Cariotti, and Scott Davidson round out the DD2 Masters field as they make their way down the front straightaway. Looks like a battle for the lead. Schiavo has got Christian Cornio down on the inside in 1. Schiavo's going to walk him all the way to the grass, but Cornio still makes the pass stick. Schiavo battles back on the inside out of 2. They're door to door. Cornio shows him the side pod, looks over his left shoulder. Good power move there by Christian Cornio to break late in turn number 1. Now Schiavo back to the inside in 6 at the top of the track. They're door to door coming through the far side. Schiavo back to the front. Christian Cornio, the Chilean driver on the Praga, working hard on the brakes. Nearly gets into Schiavo's back bumper. They come through the S's underneath the tower. Schiavo digging now as he's got Cornio right on his back bumper. Schiavo takes it about a half a lane narrow into turn number 11. Cornio's going to take a look to the inside once again. Cornio's there, and he's through. Cornio and Schiavo having an epic battle here. Boys, it's only the first heat race. Corneo getting squirrely under braking. The elbows are up like he's at a dirt track, but he's just on the slick concrete here at Palm Beach. Corneo, rarely is the fight for the lead in Masters better than the fight for the lead in Senior. But when you got Oliver Askew out there making it a snoozer, in Senior, Masters is where you go for entertainment, and that's exactly what we have here. Christian Corneo, the Chilean driver, driving fantastically right now. And I bet he'll be driving fantastic in 10 minutes if we're still racing. Luis Schiavo all over the back bumper. He's trying to wear the numbers off of that Praga in front of him. Corneo got the lead here in turn 11. 1 lap ago. Does Schiavo dive to the inside? No. That's because Schiavo's in the middle of the track. And you know what? The benefit to that is, yeah, it takes away a passing lane for Schiavo, but it rushes the corner entry up on Corneo so much that he has to back his braking zone up a good 100 feet to make that corner. They're fighting it out side by side out of the corner. Schiavo gets a great run as he's going to grab second gear heading into turn 3. Corneo's going to have to let him go, and he does. Schiavo now back to the lead. The fight for DD2 Masters not going anywhere. Up front in DD2 Senior, let's check on it. Oliver Askew holds a 0.8 of a second lead over DTM driver Maranello pilot Robert Wickens. Wickens did a good job off the green flag of holding on to second, but keeping up with Oliver Askew at his home track is easier said than done. Signoretti's got a battle from Dev Gore down in turn 1. That's going to be for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th spot. Dev Gore, Signoretti going at it. Back front, DD2 Masters, Corneo and Schiavo not letting off of each other one bit. Corneo on the outside, Schiavo to the inside. Schiavo's going to have to get on the brakes hard to slow that Burrell down. Corneo's right with him. Corneo to the outside, Corneo to the inside. Now it's a three-way battle as that's going to be Ronnie Sensor throwing his hat into the ring as well. Down the straightaway into turn 3, it's Schiavo. Out in front, Corneo in second, Sensor in third. Our DD2 Masters driver, the one to watch right now. Seniors, Oliver Askew brings him out at turn 11, down across the stripe. He's going to have 4 to go at the line. He goes purple. Last time by, no. Now it's Wickens. Wickens with a 55.873 to Askew's 56 flat. DD2 Masters we're going to see here. As you see, it looks like Seniors on back, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's a log jam, as it's going to be Askew on front, and then Wickens in second, Michael McCarthy in 3rd, Dev Gore should be in 4th, Marco Signoretti, I believe, will run 5th, and then it's going to be Alessandro Bizzotto and Christian Munoz also in that log jam. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're all over each other right now. How about DD2 Masters? They find themselves heading into turn 4 at Schiavo, Corneo, and Sensor. That top 3 has calmed down just a little bit, so let's move to our 4th, 5th, and 6th drivers in DD2 Senior. Like I said, Askew's making it a snooze fest in this one for the lead. Wickens running well in second. It was all about that green flag, not letting them get underneath him from the outside of turn number 11. As they come into the motorsports.com complex, there you see Michael McCarthy should be Dev Gore and Bizzotto, your 3rd, 4th, and 5th place drivers. Down the straightaway into turn 3, that is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. McCarthy starting to get a challenge from his Anderson Racing teammate, Dev Gore. That's going to be for 3rd spot as Marco Signoretti sits back and watches in P5 aboard the energy cart. These drivers are going to come down to see 2 to go when they get back to the line. Here comes Askew out of turn 8 through the S's, 9 and 10 over the dogleg. He'll see 11, the hairpin. Now here comes the fight for 3rd spot. This is going to be the one we're watching. It looks like Michael McCarthy and Dev Gore, the Anderson teammates. Jake Mota, he's biting his fingernails up there on top of the trailer right now. McCarthy, they call him Sloth. Oh, and you know what I've been realizing? I've been calling Michael McCarthy Mike all race. His mom hates that. Michael McCarthy runs in 3rd right now. Fight for the lead in DD2 Masters still not done yet. Schiavo and Corneo feeling each other out for the rest of the weekend, seeing what Saturday and Sunday is going to bring. Schiavo with about a 2-cart length advantage. Man, Corneo gets on the brakes hard heading down into turn number 1. Here comes Askew through the right-hander, now the left-hander, turn number 9. The S's, Robert Wickens just trying to keep him in his sights. They'll see the white flag flying when they get to the other side. Michael McCarthy, Dev Gore, Signoretti. And that's going to be Signoretti in 5th. Alessandro Bizzotto in 6th. Munoz in 7th. White flag in the air. 9 down, 1 to go. Askew's just got to get the thing home in one piece. How about 3rd place, though? It's not done yet. Dev Gore to the inside of his teammate. Gore throws it in. Too much, maybe, but he's able to hold on to the spot. Michael McCarthy now back to 4th, but McCarthy's not done. He's going to take a look to the inside of Dev Gore. No, Gore defends hard on the entrance into turn number 3. Dev Gore just trying to keep his teammate behind him. No team orders on the white flag lap. I can guarantee you that. It's finish as high as you can, but don't wreck your teammate. Dev Gore, the bi-coastal driver, hometown Seattle, Washington, works in Atlanta, Georgia, and now calls South Florida his home. He's in 3rd place with his young teammate, Michael McCarthy. Behind him in 4th, Signoretti, Munoz, and Bizzotto round out the field. Cornello now out in front of Schiavo in DD2 Masters. Askew's going to win it in senior. Wick in 2nd. How about the race to the line in 3rd? It's going to go to Anderson Racing's Dev Gore. No, McCarthy got him at the line. McCarthy gets him at the line, and they need to quit racing. The checkered flag is out. Michael McCarthy gets Dev Gore by 2/100ths of a second at the line. Dev Gore ends up 4th, McCarthy 3rd, Bizzotto 5th, Signoretti on the energy slips to 6th, Munoz 7th, Didier Carr 8th, Luke Chudley and Ethan Simoni. Your top 10 in DD2 senior Christian Cornello wins it in Masters after an epic battle with Luis Schiavo. Sensor rounds out your top 3. Then it's Davidson, Ospina, and Cariotti. Cariotti had a good run back at the U.S. Open of Vegas, and he's going to be working his way up the leaderboard all weekend in DD2 Masters. So the racing just gets better and better, from Clayman DeMello's great pass in turn 1 with 2 to go on Askew to that epic battle we just saw in DD2 Master and DD2 Senior. That will do it for our DD2 drivers. They'll take it to the barn as they are done for the day. I want to remind everybody that the tire changing contest has been moved up to 5 p.m. tonight. We need all registered contestants in that tire changing competition to be on the grid before 5 p.m. I also hear there will be a few free beverages, so make sure you're there on the grid to watch some of the fastest hands in karting change a set of tires. That'll be at 5 p.m. tonight. Micromax drivers, you're on the grid as your heat race number 1 is up next. Micromax drivers need to be down on the grid, ready to go. It's going to be Ashton Torgerson and Karsten DeFonce bringing them to the green flag. Now it's time for our second to last heat race of the day, and it's going to be a good one, folks. It's our Micromax category brought to you by AM Racing Engines. And I'm looking at our grandstands full of parents and onlookers. Who can I notice over there in the stands? I think Greg Pearson's over there. So you never know who you'll see in the stands at a Florida Winter Tour race. Even when your kid's not racing, sometimes people come out to watch. I know Oliver Askew has a big fan club here this weekend. He's from Jupiter, Florida, just down the street. Let's meet the drivers in our Micromax race here. It's going to be Granger Pera and Aiden Ingarata in row 12, while Demis Moda and Jeremino Berrio make up row 11. Leonardo Juncos and Alex Jankowski are in row 10. Then it's Miguel Costa and Nikita Johnson in row 9. Jack Jeffers and Emo Fittipaldi start 16th and 15th. That's Miss Paige Crawford from Long Island in 14th, with Marcelo Panaccia in 13th. Andres Asmar and Jeremy Fletcher make up row 6, while it's Texan Branyan Tyner in the 69 and Juan Pablo Cepeda in the 59 in row number 5. Santiago Trisney starts 8th with Ian Aguilera-Tuart in 7th. Jesse Carrasquedo takes the number 33 from 6th place, while James Agozi drives the 48 from the inside of row number 3. Justin Arsenault starts 4th in the number 36, and Josh Pearson in the number 14 rolls off in 3rd. On the front row, bringing our drivers down to see the green flag, is going to be Connecticut's number 47, Karsten DeFonts, and on pole from Medford, Oregon, the 02, Crashton Ashton Torgerson. Our drivers make their way out of turn 10 into the tram lanes. It's a little hot. Let's see. Cameron Egger, are we going racing? No, he's got the finger up in the air. We're going around one more time. So, parents in the stands, breathe. We're getting ready to go. Micromax drivers, such a stout field of youngsters getting ready to do battle. I love to watch the parents during the little guys' races. Ocala was perfect. I was in the middle of the front straightaway, had parents on each side of me. You could really see who enjoys watching the starts of these races and who doesn't. Again, it's going to be Ashton Torgerson from Southern Oregon and Karsten DeFonts of Connecticut, your front row, while Josh Pearson and Justin Arsenault start in row number 2. James Agozi and Jesse Carrasquedo start in row number 3. Tart and Trisney are row number 4. And it's Cepeda and Tyner rounding out your top 10 Micromax drivers. This class brought to you by AM Racing Engines. This is their first of 3 heat races this weekend, as they are getting ready to go 2x2 and drop the green flag. After this, we will have our final heat race of the day, Junior Max, brought to you by Kuna USA. So our Junior Max drivers need to be on the grid getting ready to roll out. But first, we got to get this one done. A quick 8-lapper. Micromax drivers, our youngest drivers here on the Florida Winter Tour. They got the message, I think, about the speed coming into the tram lanes. They're much slower this time by. Ashton Torgerson, your pole man, talked about how much fun it's been to see Ashton Torgerson and Josh Pearson run so well. I got to watch them all last year up at the Can-Am Karting Challenge in the Pacific Northwest. Those two kids, Torgerson and Pearson, put on such great battles locally in the Pacific Northwest. To see them doing it here nationally at the Florida Winter Tour is just, it's so cool to see the talent level move from one side of the country to the other, and the same kids race each other on a big stage like the Florida Winter Tour. So we're going to try it one more time here. Our Micromax drivers rolling through the S's. DeFonts on the outside, Ashton Torgerson on the inside. Much slower this time by. They look good. 2x2 is how they're going to stack up as they make their way into the tram lanes. Torgerson, your pole man. DeFonts on the outside. Chris Egger puts them into the tram lanes. Cameron Egger, are we going racing? Yes, we are. Green flag in the air, and they're off. Torgerson gets a good run. Looks like everybody's going to make it through the opening corner cleanly. Yes, they do, but it's turn 1 on the concrete. The real corner you got to watch out for. They're almost 3 wide heading into that opening corner. DeFonts is going to let Arsenault go by. Pearson gives DeFonts a shot. Our leaders, everybody's going to make it through the opening 2 corners cleanly. All right, moms, you can breathe now. We're off and racing. Down the straightaway into the left-hander, turn number 3. That was an impressive start for all of our Micromax drivers and an impressive start for Ashton Torgerson. Justin Arsenault was able to make something happen there as he got up into second place. And then I think Karsten DeFont should still be in that third position. Let's see when they come by. Yeah, I believe so. That's going to be DeFont in third, Agozi fourth, Pearson fifth. As our drivers make their way through the S's underneath the tower to complete lap number 1. Here we go. Micromax, 8 laps of racing on the docket. Karsten DeFont's right behind Justin Arsenault. Is he going to take a look heading down into turn 11? No. He stays right behind Arsenault. So as lap 1 gets completed here, it's Torgerson out in front. Arsenault is going to make a look now for the inside as they head to the right-hander, turn number 1. Arsenault pulls up alongside, hard on the brakes, and he's through. Is he able to bring DeFont with him? No. Torgerson shuts the door. Good move by Justin Arsenault. Carried a lot of speed, but now Torgerson battles back on the inside of 3, and he's through. Ashton Torgerson not laying down just yet here on the second lap of racing. Torgerson goes back to the lead after losing it to Arsenault 2 corners previously. They're going to hook up, and if they were smart, drive together away from the rest of the pack. But the racing's so good between the two of them, I want to see them battle right now. Torgerson brings him through. He should be on the Gallard chassis. I'm not positive. I want to take a look at Race Monitor and see what it says. Yeah, Ashton Torgerson on the Gallard, racing with BBR Karting, Blake Choker, the U.S. importer. Now Pearson makes a good move on DeFont for third place. Wilsonville, Oregon driver Josh Pearson moves up to third place. Arsenault going to take a look on the inside of 1 once again on Torgerson, and he's through. Arsenault back-to-back laps gets the lead in turn 1, but he's got to do something differently here if he doesn't want Torgerson to get back by him, and Arsenault is just slow out of turn number 2, and Torgerson has a great run. Torgerson's going to take the lead back. Yes, he does. Now Pearson joins this 2-kart battle, making it a 3-way fight. Pearson to the inside in 5. No! Arsenault shuts the door on him. There you see the top 3 right there coming out of turn 5. Torgerson, your leader. Arsenault in second. Pearson in third. Justin Arsenault showed good speed in Ocala last month, but just was never able to find the last piece of the puzzle. They may have found it on the trip here to West Palm. Arsenault running right in the middle of 2 of the big hitters in Micromax. Arsenault to the inside in turn 11 for the lead. Arsenault's there, and he's through. Justin Arsenault, the Canadian, showing the way to a pair of drivers from the Pacific Northwest. But now Torgerson has the line heading down into turn 1. It's a left-hander hairpin in turn 11 and a right-hander hairpin in turn 1. Palm Beach, challenging. Oh, Arsenault slides wide on the exit of 2, and that allows Pearson by. Big Red, Josh Pearson, my man. He now moves into the second position. Good fight here in Micromax, and watch out, because right behind Justin Arsenault looks like James Agozi. Yeah, I'll tell you what, folks, after missing out on Rock last weekend with the Florida Winter Tour, today's my first day to see real competitive laps get laid down, and I am blown away at how well this track races. Palm Beach Karting, a flowing and technical track. Chris Wheeler talked about the necessity of learning rhythm as a youngster and coming to a track like West Palm and how much rhythm really is a part of a lap here. Man, he's right. Good battle for the lead now as it's going to be Pearson on the inside of Torgerson down in 1, and with help from Arsenault, he's through. Pearson and Torgerson back to the front in Micromax. Torgerson falls on his face, unfortunately, coming out of turn 2. That allows Arsenault and DeFont to mount a charge. Heading down into turn 3, Arsenault's going to get him. DeFont stays behind. Pearson out in front. Arsenault, Torgerson, door to door on the exit of 3. Now they head from 4 into 5. Arsenault in second. DeFont's through for third. Karsten DeFont's now up to third. Torgerson in 4th. And then in 5th place, rounding it out, it's going to be, I think, I'm not positive. It's saying Agozi, but that's not James Agozi. No, it's Agozi in 3rd place. That's Agozi in 3rd place. 4th place is Torgerson. I'm sorry, I was mistaking Agozi for Karsten DeFonts, but it's actually James Agozi running in that third position. Justin Arsenault in second. Josh Pearson, your leader. They battle down into turn number 1. Agozi wants second place from Arsenault. Agozi's there, and he's got it. James Agozi around Justin Arsenault for the second spot. Arsenault falls to third. Now Torgerson with a good run as they head down the straightaway into turn number 3. Torgerson's there on the inside of Arsenault. They're wheel to wheel. Arsenault battles back. He's able to hold on to third spot. James Agozi with an awesome move to move into the second position. Now he chases down Josh Pearson up front. Pearson and Agozi, shades of Ocala, only a few weeks ago. A little bit farther back towards the pack. A few drivers run a little wide on the exit of the S's, but everybody stays clean. White flag now in the air, 1 to go. Pearson's lead is much too big for Agozi to do anything about it. Oh, and it looks like Arsenault's going to get a little bit of help trying to battle back to the front. Oh, no, Arsenault goes around in 1. Yellow flags fly, and he's going to collect another driver with him, and all that work they just did goes out the window as Arsenault, and I'm not positive of the other driver involved, they get passed by every running kart on track. It looks like with the exception of one. Arsenault gets help from the corner workers. It looks like damage. Yeah, it looks like damage. They both pushed their karts off. Their day is done. And they're on the outside of the turn, but it's okay because when the leaders get there, the checkered flag will have flown. Battle for second place here. Agozi's got Ashton Torgerson wanting to make something happen here out of the S's through turn 10 over the dogleg. Agozi's going to defend way down to the inside. Torgerson's going to try and make something happen here. Torgerson almost makes it pass on the outside. Does he have the run on the exit of 11? No. He's going to lose one spot as Pearson wins the race. Agozi's second. Great run there. As Josh Pearson scores the victory. Unfortunately for Justin Arsenault, and I'm not positive of the other driver involved, trouble takes them out on the white flag lap down in turn number 1. But it's Pearson with the honors here at Heat Race number 1. Micro, Max, and now Mini Max drivers are both done. One race remaining on the day. Junior Max drivers getting ready to roll out. So as Micromax drivers take it to the scale line, Josh Pearson with an impressive run to the win there. We may be in a bit of a holding pattern here, folks. I'll let you know. We may have a technical issue that is going to keep us from rolling out Junior Max on time. So please stick with us and listen. If you're watching live, we will let you know what's going on. So we got a couple shout-outs here as we have a bit of a break in the action. There's a good look at our Junior Max grid. There's Matt Long sitting on the wheel of his driver's front bumper. They're getting ready to head out. Who else can we see down there on the grid? Is that Andrew Sherry, a.k.a. Tommy Bahama, that I see sitting on the grid? Yeah, I believe so. No, that may be that's Stephen Chapman by his driver, Matthew Latifi. And it's always fun to have a live look at the grid, see all the celebrities that are the tuners of the Florida Winter Tour. Steve Malozzi down there watching the on-track action. He gives a wave. He had a great run. Taking a look there at the grid of our Junior Max drivers. Want to remind everybody about the Tire Challenge, 5 p.m. It's going to be tonight on the grid. Hey, speaking of people that are going to be changing tires, there's a few mechanics from the Kuna USA trailer that I'm sure will be pretty gnarly at changing some Mojo tires. They're up there on top of the trailer. All the PSL guys had me freaked out during the DD2 race. Now it's those Kuna USA tuners up on top of the rig over there. Daredevils is what all those folks who stand on top of the haulers are. Just, I'm not a man for heights, so you guys have all the respect. Looks like Chris Egger's grabbing our Junior Max drivers for a quick meeting down there. Oh man, look at Nick Bruckner's hair, man. He wears it so well. Ryan McDermott making his way up to the drivers' meeting as well. As all the drivers look like they've popped the helmets. I think that's Matias Ramirez waving at us. Matias, listen to the meeting. So, as Chris Egger is going to struggle to talk to these drivers while I talk over the speakers behind him, we want to let you know the tire changing competition, 5 p.m. tonight. I'm reading texts here. Limited edition, not for sale, gold Unipro stopwatch is the grand prize for winning tonight's competition. So again, that is the grand prize for winning tonight's tire changing. This gold stopwatch is unreal. It's from Unipro, so you've got to be there to win it. You gotta be in it to win it. So that is what's up for grabs. Couple of shout-outs. Hey, Anthony Honeywell emailing us. Good luck to Kyle Kunze and Ethan Ho in Minimax. That's from your Rock Cup Masters champion, Anthony Honeywell. Anthony, thanks for tuning in and watching. We sure appreciate it. Way to go, Josh Pearson and Ashton Torgerson. Nice that you set up your drafting skills already. That's from Janelle Pearson. Janelle, thank you for tuning in and watching. Shout out to Aiden Keel. We're watching you and hope you do well. That is from Pauline. That's all it says. It's from Pauline. So, Aiden Keel, you got some fans. And then another one from Janelle Pearson. Good job, Luke Selican. Way to get the party started. Go Rollison Performance Group. So, our Junior Max drivers, like I said, under a bit of a holding pattern. Also, hey, let's talk about the Dan Weldon Award at FloridaWinterTour.com. This weekend, we will be announcing the winner of the 2016 Dan Weldon Award. If you have any nominations, any last-minute people that you feel should be considered, email those nominations to DW Award at FloridaWinterTour.com. Mike and Chris will be handing that out at podiums this Sunday. It's a very cool deal. The Dan Weldon Award is something handed out to someone who embodies the spirit of Dan Weldon. In karting, it's a good ambassador of the sport, someone who is there for the good of the sport. And like I said, Chris Wheeler, Mike Marini will be on hand Sunday to hand out that award. So please, if you have any suggestions, any nominations, email us at DWAward at FloridaWinterTour.com. Drivers are making their way back into their carts. It looks like, at least our drivers meeting is done. We'll let you know what's going on here, folks. Stick with us as I'm going to try to find out what is going on. So it looks like we are all good to go now is the word from upstairs. So I think carts are going to get fired up here soon if drivers can make their way back to their carts. So here's what's going on, folks. I can explain to you this much. There's timing and scoring issues with our loop. What's going to happen next is we're going to give them the 1 minute. And Shelby Jocelyn, our hero of timing and scoring here, along with Morgan Healy, are going to actually hand score this race because we want to make sure we get out and as close to on time as we can. We know we're a little late, but basically it's the Max Speed staff pulling a big job right here, and they're going to hand score these drivers as we get ready to go here. So we are going to fire up the engines and we are going to go racing. That's basically what's going on, is lots of scoring loops here at Palm Beach with the big track, the drag strip, the karting facility, and unfortunately that causes technical issues once in a while. That's been the reason for the delay, but we are now ready to fire up and go as Shelby and Morgan are going to take this one on their own. And engines are fired. They've been shown the 1 minute board. So I'm not sure Race Monitor is going to be working for you here. It's probably not going to be working for me. So all together, we're going to try and figure this one out. But we are ready to go finally as engines are fired up. There you see them turning out the first half of our grid. The grid here at Palm Beach, a little short, a little narrow. So we actually have two side-by-side grids. The front half of the field starts down there on the right side. The back half of the grid lines up in the left side of the grid. They've been released. It is Cooney USA Junior Max Heat Race number 1. So we apologize for the delay, but timing and scoring is not something you want to risk. And we've put all of our heads together up here, and now we are ready to go. So here we go. It's going to be Michael D'Orlando and Matias Ramirez. Your front row with Nicholas D'Orlando and Nick Bruckner. In row number 2, Lachlan DiFrancesco and Stephen Malozzi starting in the 5th and 6th positions. Ryan McDermott and Matt Latifi make up row number 4, while Arthur Leist and Henry Cubitus make up row 5. Hayden Keel and Riley Dickinson are in row 6, while it's Max Waithman and Andres de Alba. In row number 7, Dylan Tavella and Zach Hollingshead make up row 8, while Killian Meyer in the CRG and Zazumbar Kovacs make up row 9. Zoe Edenholm and Kai Palomino start 19th and 20th. 37 carts here in Junior Max. Mark Antoine Poirier and Nathan Ratton start 21st and 22nd. Dylan DeFonts and Peyton Durant roll off in row 12. Manuel Suleiman and Emma Delartre are in row 13th side by side. George Stojakovic in the Borel starts 27th with Colin Gasparini in 28th. Juan Diego Velasquez and Brandon Werner make up row 15, and then it's Thomasine Brennan from Anderson Racing and Rahif Shah in row number 16. Colt Hensley rolls off 33rd with Alexander Henry Maya Bastos in 34th. Luis Felipe Gava and Daniel Ruiz make up row 18th. And bringing him down in the 19th row by himself, starting 37th with Mark Donato. But it's D. Orlando, Big Brother Michael, and Matias Ramirez, your front row. This has been a battle we've seen all Florida Winter Tour. And here at the final weekend, it's time to kick things off. Folks, get somewhere on the fence, get on top of a hauler, get somewhere you can see. It's the last heat race of the day. Michael D. Orlando, Matias Ramirez, your front row. Chris Egger puts him into the tramlines for the final time today. Cameron Egger, let's go racing! Green flag flies. Matias Ramirez tries to hold this spot, and there's a parking lot in turn one. Back half of the grid all gets together. Now it's going to be up to the officials to decide if we're going to restart this one or not. They all jam up on the inside heading into turn one. Matt Latifi gets shoved all the way from the inside to the outside of the track. More drivers get together in turn number one. Yellow flag still flying. We're listening to the radios, finding out if we're going to go to a full restart here or not. They have to the end of lap number 2 to make that decision. Carts are off and rolling down in turn 11 where they got the green flag. Turn 1 is clean. I don't see drivers slowing down, and I don't see officials reaching for the restart flag. I think this one is rolling. Up front, it's Michael D. Orlando, Matias Ramirez, and Nick Bruckner. Your top three. It should be Lachlan DiFrancesco in 4th, Nicholas D. Orlando in 5th, and Stephen Malozzi hangs tight in 6th place. He is out in that lead pack right now, running very well. Now, like I said, timing and scoring is having issues, so we're going to see if we have any. We do. Race monitor is up and running, so that's a pleasant surprise. Matias Ramirez goes purple on race monitor. Minute flat, .565, with D. Orlando out in front of him by about less than a full tenth of a second. Nick Bruckner third, DiFrancesco, D. Orlando. Your top 5 as we look now on our monitors. You see the top 3 all over each other, and then Nicholas D. Orlando is getting a good challenge from Stephen Malozzi. That's for the 5th spot. Through the S's underneath the tower to complete lap number 2. Matias Ramirez still your quickest driver. Minute flat, .565. Let's see what the numbers look like this time. That was a hairy start. I'm not going to lie to you. Turn 11 was a bottleneck, and turn 1 was not much better as they come down to complete lap number 2. Bruckner, now your quickest driver on the track, but it's Ramirez making a move for the lead down in turn 1. Ramirez is through, and he brings Bruckner with him. Good move there. Matias Ramirez and Nicholas Bruckner make a 2-position swing on your pole sitter, Michael D. Orlando. So D. Orlando now goes from P1 back to P3, and it's big brother and little brother running nose to tail. Michael in 3rd, Nicholas in 4th, and then Malozzi is going to round out your top 5. Lachlan DiFrancesco has fallen down into 6th place. Ryan McDermott now your quickest driver on track. Least is 8th, Tavella 9th, and Dickinson up in 10th. The lead pack coming through turn 7, now 8. 9 over the left-hander, 10. They'll head down the back straightaway into the hairpin, turn 11. Nicholas Bruckner, what can he do here to Matias Ramirez? We're going to see 7 to go at the line. It's a quick 10-lap heat race. A little bit farther back, that's going to be probably Malozzi and DiFrancesco having a good fight. Malozzi, Lachlan DiFrancesco, and Ryan McDermott. Yeah, that's going to be Lachlan working on Malozzi. McDermott already got the spot. Now Bruckner wants a piece of the action for the lead. Matias Ramirez leaves just a little bit of daylight. Bruckner, he's the one driver you can be sure is going to go for it. Nicholas, the Hockley, Texas driver. Stalking the Floridian, Matias Ramirez from Ocala Grand Prix. Nick Bruckner racing out of Fabio Orslon's tent. Orslon Racing from Miami, Florida. Then you have Michael and Nicholas D. Orlando, the brothers from New York, Michael's going to want to take a look on Nick down in turn 11. Is he close enough? No. He stays in line. Michael and Nicholas racing with Kuna USA. And then in 5th, I believe it's going to be Ryan McDermott. Yes, it is. McDermott now up to P5 on your front 4, all over each other. Michael D'Orlando takes a look over his shoulder, sees little brother about 2 cart lengths back, gets up on the wheel, trying to pull away. You wonder if it's worth it to back up just a slight bit to Nicholas and then the two of them bump draft together. The thing is, this isn't like Homestead where you have long straightaways and short corners. You have mostly short straightaways and very long sweeping corners. You can't bump draft through a corner, all right? That's not going to be a wise idea. So right now, Michael and Nicholas have just got to get on their horses and ride if they're going to catch up to Bruckner and Ramirez. So now at the halfway point, the cross flags being shown. Your leader, Matias Ramirez, the quickest driver on track, 58.455. Bruckner, a 58.52. D'Orlando, a 58.60. Little brother, D'Orlando, a 58.5. So lap times very close to each other. Ramirez, though, quickest of them all, a 58.4. Nobody else is that quick. Yeah, Ramirez, you see it right there on your monitor. He's done a good job of opening up some space between he and second-place driver Nicholas Bruckner. Bruckner up on the curbs just trying to get as much rotation in that Tony Kart chassis as he can. And here with all these long corners, it's all about getting that chassis to jack and rotate through the corners. Good shot of the full bleachers down there in turn number 1 as we watch our final heat race of the day. Bruckner might have a challenge for second place now. Michael D'Orlando to the inside. He's through. Michael D'Orlando now to second place. Nicholas Bruckner in between the D'Orlando brothers. Bruckner's going to come back though on the inside of turn 3. Bruckner right there. Can he make something happen? Oh, man, they both wash out. Nicholas is there to try and pick up the pieces. That did not help Michael D'Orlando at all. Nick Bruckner battled back down low on the inside. Heading into turn number 3, he got up alongside Michael D'Orlando. They both washed out, and that allowed Nicholas to catch up. Here they come through the S's. It's going to be Ramirez, Bruckner, and then the D'Orlando brothers. Looks like little brother Nicholas now out in front. It is Nicholas showing the way in 3rd place. Michael in 4th. Ryan McDermott, Stephen Malozzi. At the line, now they see 3 to go. Malozzi and Ryan McDermott continue to have a great battle. I am so impressed with how Stephen Malozzi has run this weekend. He's side by side with Ryan McDermott now coming out of turn number 2. Malozzi, I'll admit it, didn't have a great run, but he's going to battle back on the inside. No, McDermott holds the position. We're still watching this fight for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Bruckner on the Orsalon Racing Tony Kart runs P2, 3rd. He's going to be little brother Nicholas D'Orlando, and then 4th is Michael D'Orlando with Malozzi in 5th. You see all 3 of those drivers hooked up nose to tail. Cam Egger should be showing him the sticks this time by 2 to go. Now Bruckner's going to leave the inside open. Nicholas D'Orlando to the inside. He's going to get help from Michael. Can both D'Orlandos get through? Yes, they do. Nicholas and Michael around Bruckner. That puts the D'Orlando brothers 2nd and 3rd. Nick's going to come back down and try to pass him, but Michael has got his brothers back. Now he wants to go after the position. Michael back to the inside. He's into 3rd. Bruckner follows him through. Nicholas falls now back to 4th. Good fight here, Michael and Nicholas D'Orlando. Nick Bruckner is going to be sick of the D'Orlando numbers, the 215 and the 251 when this one's all over. But it's been exciting racing, that's for sure. Here they come through the S's. Matias Ramirez, your leader. Now it's Michael D'Orlando. Nicholas Bruckner Nicholas D'Orlando. Then Stephen Malozzi, Ryan McDermott, and is that Tavella? Yes, it is. Dylan Tavella up in the 7th position as these drivers are going to come down to see the white flag flying. 1 lap to go. Matias Ramirez is safe, but nobody else on this track is. Bruckner gives Michael D'Orlando a shot getting down into turn 1, but Michael holds his ground. Nick Bruckner, and he gives up a spot to Nicholas D'Orlando. So Bruckner, while trying to get physical with Michael, leaves the door open for little brother, and just like that, Nicholas is through for 3rd place. Nick Bruckner, no one's going to tell you different. He's a physical driver, okay? And sometimes that physicality comes back to bite him, and we just saw it right there. He was bumping and banging on Michael D'Orlando getting down into turn 1, and, well, that hurts his momentum on the exit. And Nicholas D'Orlando picks up the pieces. Matias Ramirez brings them through the S's for the final time. He'll hit the back straightaway. Turn 11 is all he's going to have to get through, and he's going to do it cleanly. To end of the day, Junior Max, presented by Kuna USA, is going to go to the Ocala Grand Prix driver, Matias Ramirez. He's your winner here in Junior Max. 2nd place goes to Michael D'Orlando, and 3rd place is going to go to little brother Nicholas D'Orlando. Nick Bruckner, unfortunately, gives up a 2nd place run and ends up 4th. Ryan McDermott rounds out your top 5. Tavella comes home 6th. DeFrancesco 7th. Malozzi got bullied at the last lap of that race, but he had a really good showing. Keep an eye on the 211. Zachary Hollingshead comes home 9th, and then it's Texas's Riley Dickinson rounding out your top 10. Andres de Alba finishes 11th. Matt Latifi 12th. Henry Cubitus 13th. Arthur Leist and Manuel Solomon, your top 15. Anderson Racing driver Aiden Keel comes home 16th with Max Waithman in 17th. Juan Diego Velas is 18th. Killian Meyer and Zazumbor Kovacs round out your top 20. Zoe Edenholm 21st. Nathan Ratton 22nd. Colin Gasparini 23rd. Mark Donato and Alexandri Bastos are your top 25. Peyton Durant finishes 26th. Emma Delartre 27th. Luis Felipe Gava, Daniel Riaz, and Colt Hensley complete the top 30. Fantastic racing there in Junior Max to end the day, folks. Qualifying and heat number 1 is in the books, but it's Matias Ramirez holding them off for the win. And brothers D'Orlando come home 2nd and 3rd. Bruckner and McDermott, your top 5. So, folks, that will do it. Just like that, a quick day of racing is in the books. We thank everybody for tuning in to our live coverage on motorsport.com. Shout out to Shelby Jocelyn and Morgan Healy for manning up and hand scoring that race just in case the timing system went down. There's a reason they're called the best timing and scoring staff at max speed. So that'll do it, folks. We are done. One last reminder to everybody here at the track, the tire changing competition has been moved up to 5 p.m. That's conveniently in 20 minutes. So everybody please be on the grid. A gold Unipro stopwatch that you cannot buy. It's a limited edition gold Unipro watch that is not for sale. Will be the grand prize to tonight's champions of the tire changing competition. There's going to be a few beverages on hand for all of those who show up to watch. For Chris Wheeler, he'll be back in the booth tomorrow. I'm Tony Laporta. Thanks a bunch for tuning in, folks. This has been live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour presented by Fixie Wheels. We will be back tomorrow. Heat racing. Let's just let you know in case you're wanting to get up and watch some racing on the East Coast. Heat number 2 for Senior Max goes hot at 9:45, so that's what time we will begin our broadcast. 9:45 tomorrow morning. Again, folks, you've been watching live coverage of the 2016 Sofina Foods Florida Winter Tour presented by Fixie Wheels. I'm Tony Laporta. So long from Palm Beach.
I get home from work on Saturday morning about 4 to 5 a.m. On a good week, I did some prep early, and on a bad week, I'm doing it when I get to the track. Sleep is not an option. I unload, reg, driver's meeting, nap, qualify, race. It's not every weekend, but it's as many races as I can make. I used to race when I was younger, before New York and before getting married. I've always worn Bill. From bicycles to race cars, it's given me the best in safety when I've needed it the most.
Mazda Road to Indy has been training and promoting the best, most ambitious open-wheel drivers and teams in North America. Now, Max Speed Group and Anderson Promotions brings to the Rotax karting world a unique opportunity to experience the next level in racing.
A lot of these karters have a dream of becoming an IndyCar racer, and that transition going from Rotax to the Mazda Road to Indy is finally there for them to be able to get a feel of that car.
The Mazda Road to Indy, where drivers and teams from around the world come to succeed. This is where it all starts. This is where you want to be.
With multiple national titles in IKF, WK, SCUSA, and Rotax, the Rollison Performance Group put their experience to work for you. Coast to Coast, RPG offers the most comprehensive driver development program. From detailed on-track data analysis to trackside coaching for tuners and drivers, RPG's individualized trackside support will improve your results. RPG is an authorized Rotax service center and a top supplier of Cosmic Carts and OTK parts. Visit us on the web at rollisonperformancegroup.com.
The 2016 Safina, Florida Winter Tour.